Porky, what have we just been doing?
Well, we've just had an exhilarating 3 hours, OK? I mean, it is a day where there's going to be a lot of action in the world of sport. We got
There's no point talking about a lot of action in the world of sport. People are going to listen to this podcast after it's all happened.
We got under the skin of it all.
We did.
And it's getting under the skin of it all, which really livens it all up.
You've been getting under my skin, I can tell you. Good morning, I'm Mike Graham, he's Mike Parry, you're listening to the Two Mikes on the warm-up. What a day of sport we have for you over the next few hours here at TalkSport. Lewis Hamilton's on pole for the British Grand Prix at Silverstone in a couple of hours. Andy Murray heads into his 11th Grand Slam final against rookie Milos Raonic of Wimbledon. And tonight at 8 o'clock, it's the final of the Euros live on TalkSport between France and Portugal. It's entirely possible that Porky could beat his own record and jinx all three events. We shall see. Could it be a triple Porky jinx on Hamilton, on Murray and on France? 08717 223344. Also coming up on the show, we've got Heroes and Villains, the Porky Sermon, and of course Tales from the Weekend. You're listening to the Two Mikes with me, Mike Graham, and Mike Parry on TalkSport. This is Talk Sport, and it's time to say a very, very good morning to Mr. Mike, a Porky Parry, on a very nice Sunday. Very good morning to you, Mr. Parry.
Good morning, Mike. It's not that nice a Sunday. It's rather grey overhead, but it's cloudy. Very, very humid.
It is a bit humid, yes.
And humidity bores my brain. Does it? Makes me feel very strange, all that kind of stuff.
I've just got something I want to ask you to do. Yeah, you've taken lately to putting out things on Twitter, and you said it in here as well on the handover. Yeah, Mike and I think this. Yes. Would you mind not speaking for me, please? I'm perfectly capable of speaking for myself. I have independent thought. Yes. I very rarely agree with you on anything. Yes. So please stop saying that the two of us agree on whatever it is that you want to say.
Well, the thing is, sometimes when I make these pronouncements and leave you out, you then get all huffy and say, why are you dictating the course of our thinking?
No, you speak for yourself. You don't speak for the two mics. You don't speak for me. You speak for one mic, and it's Mike Parry. You don't speak for me or anybody else.
I'm not sure why you're getting so upset.
Because I don't want you to speak for me.
All I said was that we have labelled today Smasheration Sunday, right?
No, we have not labelled that. Smasheration Sunday. You have. That's fine. Yeah. You can label it whatever you like.
I'm a bit fed
We have not labelled it anything.
I'm a bit fed up of hearing this generic Super Sunday. Everything's a Super Sunday. Yeah. So I decided that we'd vary it a bit because we have a command of the English language.
When you say that's fine. But
I'm trying to help you out there,
It's you. You've labelled it that.
And the way I qualified it was to say that I believe that Andy Murray will win the Wimbledon title by smashing all his volleys back over the net.
Jinx number one.
I believe that Lewis Hamilton will win the British Grand Prix by smashing records at Silverstone.
Jinx number two.
OK, and we will see a smashing final of the Euros tonight. Sadly, England won't be in it. Just imagine if we had a British hero winning Wimbledon, a British hero winning the British Grand Prix, and then a British team in the final tonight.
That would have been great.
And Wales, of course,
got quite
very
close.
Nearly got there.
They got quite close.
So that would have been quite spectacular,
wouldn't it?
What's your view
that everybody seems to have a view on of their having a open-top bus parade?
Of course they should have done. They did a brilliant job.
Everybody seems to think it's a bit over the top.
Well, I spoke to Mr. Brazil about this because he came back from, I'm not sure where they won it, but they won it home and away, didn't they? He won the UEFA Cup when it was home and away ties.
What, you mean Ipswich?
With Ipswich.
Yeah.
And he won it with Spurs as well, actually. But the Ipswich won. They came back to Ipswich, where, of course, I have an abode, so I know the layout of the town. You know what I mean?
I thought it was in Suffolk.
It is in Suffolk, but it's on
I thought it was in some place outside of somewhere on the coast.
It is. It's Orwell Quay. And
is that Ipswich technically?
Well, the nearest big town is Ipswich.
Okay.
If I want any cultural sort of events to go to, anything like that, I normally head for Ipswich. Or Aldborough.
When was the last time you were there?
In Ipswich?
Yeah, no, in your place.
In my place?
In Orwell Quay. Home of the inflatable boat.
Well, it's I have a rotation policy for my homes.
Rotation?
Yeah, and at the moment they're not. Orwell Quay's not first or second on the rotation policy.
So when were you last there?
Well,
how do you know that it's not all covered in cobwebs? Is it some kind of,
horrendous
kind of fire risk or something?
No, I have people looking after it. But anyway, look, getting back to Smashing Sunday, right? Then. Why shouldn't we call it Smasheration Sunday? Why not? Why do you object to that?
I don't object to it. I just object to you saying that we have decided to call it that.
Well, do you like Smasheration Sunday?
It's all right.
Do you want to join in with it now?
No, not particularly. I think it's a rather gauche and frankly ignorant sort of
So
phrase.
What do you want to call it? Super Sunday?
I don't want to call it anything. I just want to call it Sunday.
Give it some original name.
No, I don't want to call it anything.
Super Sunday.
No, I don't want to call it anything. It's just Sunday afternoon. It's a fantastic day of sport.
Well, it's not Sunday afternoon yet.
You don't need to get... Well, that's when it all kicks off, isn't it?
Can I
the Grand Prix starts at 1 o'clock. The tennis starts at 2 o'clock.
I mean, obviously you had a very lively Saturday night. Can I ask you why you were setting fire to part of your property last night?
Well, I wasn't. No, we
a lot of pictures of flames.
Yeah,
and
well,
things.
we purchased over the weekend. You know, we've always had one of these little chimneys, which is very nice.
What?
But it's
Sorry,
quite similar. Chimneyer. You know what a chimneyer is?
Well, I suppose it's a small chimney, is it?
Well, it's a sort of an outdoor kind of fireplace,
right?
Basically.
Okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
it comes in various sizes, and you basically it's got like a.
What's it made of?
It's made of sort of pottery.
I see. Yeah,
or
like
maybe metal,
like fire burnt brick and that kind of stuff.
Thing. So basically, it's got a little sort of. It's like a potbelly stove, if you like, right? And it's got a chimney at the top, and you put wood in it, and you burn it. And it's very nice,
right?
But it's not really. It doesn't create a massive fire,
right?
And I'm a bit of a pyromaniac. I don't mind admitting that, right?
Yes.
And so
I'm a bit of a pyromaniac. I don't mind admitting that. Yeah.
So it's good for. I love having fires in the winter.
Somebody check the fire extinguishers,
but obviously in the winter you can't, have a fire inside the house. It's too hot.
Yeah.
So, but you can have one outside.
Yeah.
And so the mother of my children bought what can only be described as, what have you just done there?
I've let the seat down a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. I thought you were having some kind of collapse.
No, I'm not collapsing.
So she bought one of these
Might be
things.
Collapsing by the end of a 3-hour show with you.
Well, you might be,
your current move.
She bought one of these, sort of much more open, like a big open basin type fire burning device, right? Which means you can put loads and loads of stuff in it. It doesn't have a top.
Yeah.
And you can burn as much as you like. And I was told not to burn the wood that we've got for the fire in the winter time. So I just started burning trees.
What, you're already stocking up for winter fuel, are you?
Oh, yeah, because...
Like old King Wenceslas.
Well, you're not talking about Nat King Cole, are you?
What?
We're going to hear a bit of Nat King Cole later. Nat King Coombs is on after us.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very nice.
That's what we call him.
No, I was talking about...
He likes it when you call him that, apparently.
I was talking about good King Wenceslas.
No.
Anyway, so keep rambling on, yeah, go on.
What do you mean rambling on? I cut down a few bushes and trees.
No, you didn't. You got your boys, apparently, to drag it all in across your field.
No, but what I'm saying is I cut them down already, and I chucked them behind... Oh, massive gardens.
Yes.
You've never been there, because you keep refusing my invitation, right?
Yeah, I haven't had an invitation yet.
I keep asking you. You keep saying you can't come.
Well,
can't make it for one reason or another.
I'm busy,
Yeah. So round the back of one of the bushes, there's a load of sort of old, trees that I've chopped down.
Right.
So I told them to go and drag them out.
Are they yours to burn?
Yeah.
Are you sure about this?
Yeah. Absolutely, on the property.
Sure, it's not common land that you're encroaching onto.
No, it's in the garden. It's our garden. It's our property. It's our trees. So, but obviously some of the trees were too thick to be broken and snapped. So I just had to burn them as they were.
Yeah.
So you put the big tree in the middle of it and burn it until it breaks in half, and then you move the other bit on. It was great fun. Very good.
Okay.
I smelled a bit like a bonfire when I went to bed.
Oh, I see. Okay, fine. Well, but you got over that then. So
I got over it. Yeah, absolutely.
So a night of moderate bladderation. Then?
I would say moderate. Yeah, because I knew I had to get up early.
Yeah, of course.
And I had to drive up to London. So yeah, absolutely.
You'll have to get up early for the rest of this week, aren't you?
Yeah, because we're doing talk radio, aren't we?
We're doing talk radio. That's exciting. We're looking forward to it.
We're invading the old DAB scenario.
OK, so you've rubbished my predictions for the big sporting events today, so could you tell me how you think it's going to go then?
All I'm saying
is
that you predicted wrongly the two semi-finals of the Euros, right? You said that basically it was going to be a definite, Wales-Germany final. In fact, you said Germany were going to win it.
I thought Germany would win it.
Yeah, right. So you said you've been saying all year, all through the Euros, that Germany were going to win
Definitely.
it. So you got that wrong, right?
Yeah.
You also got the
Can't
England...
remember who you said would win it at the start.
I said at the beginning it would be a final between Germany and Spain. Because I thought it would be.
So, so you got that.
But what I'm saying is that I correctly predicted that France would beat Germany. I didn't get the Wales one right, but basically my predictions are, generally speaking, much better than yours. All I'm saying is that if you tip France to win it, then I would say Portugal will win.
Right, okay.
If you tip Andy Murray to win, then I would say Raonic is going to win because Raonic looked pretty good against Federer.
Despite the fact nothing's ever happened in Canada.
No, you say that, but that's not really true. And
Well,
it's a bit disingenuous. Loads of things have happened in Canada. I think you've been very, very sort of,
tell me the last
xenophobic to say that.
No, I'm not. I'm saying...
They've had a terrible terrorist attack.
Yeah.
They've had all kinds of governmental things happen there.
Governmental things? They've had riveting, interesting news, that.
Well, when you say what's happened, what do you expect to happen? I mean, do you expect there to be some kind of, landslide, ice, ice...
If I wanted to retire to a country
which
I thought was one of the most stable in the world, I'd go to Canada.
It's a very nice country.
I totally agree.
It is a very
lovely
nice country.
And I've been to Vancouver, where all the lakes and the forests are and trees. It's fantastic.
Well, there's quite a lot of lakes and forests and trees in the middle of it as well. They're not all in Vancouver.
Yeah, I know, but Vancouver's spectacular.
Really? And what did you do in Vancouver?
I watched Boris Yeltsin nearly fall off a boat because he was so drunk.
Really? What was he doing in Vancouver?
It was one of these sort of G7 summits, because Canada's in G7, and he was there with Bill Clinton, my close associate.
Oh, your good mate. Yeah. Was George there as well?
George
Stephanopoulos, the guy that you tried to tweet, who didn't answer your tweets.
Hey,
George, how are you, man? I used to talk to you all the time.
I think he probably was.
By the way.
By the way, I was thinking that as we're doing a bit of daytime radio for the next 2 or 3 weeks, we might invite Liam Gallagher on to talk to us.
We could, yeah. You're not still trying to flog that particular dead horse, are you? That was a week ago.
No, I'm not. But, I mean, it was your idea to put it on Facebook, and apparently it's had rather a
it's had about
response.
20,000 views, yeah.
Well, there you go. What can you say?
Yeah. Yeah, well, but let's move on. I mean, there's plenty of other things to talk about.
Move on.
I mean, why don't you just attack another ageing rock star?
Well, I don't attack
between now and tomorrow.
It was merely a conversation.
I see. This is TalkSport. We are the two mics in on the warm-up, of course, and as Porky said, all next week from 10 till 1, we're going to be on Talk Radio. We're going to invade their space for a while, which should be very, very interesting indeed. I've got a few tweets here, Mr. Parry, from you. Whiz Bang says, I'm going with Porky, France to win 4-0.
Oh, wow.
Which is a little bit... See, I think the thing about Portugal and France is that everybody's assuming France will win. I mean, France were the favourites for the whole tournament since the beginning of the tournament,
home,
right?
Of course,
and it's in their home, and as you pointed out last week, they've won it. They won the World Cup and they won the Euros the last time.
They played in their country.
They played in their country,
That's right.
And of course, the situation is that Portugal, nobody's expected them to do particularly well.
Yep.
No one's ever expected them to get through to the quarterfinals and won the semi-finals. Now they're in the final. I just think they've been like a sort of silent partner almost,
Yes.
They may have Pepe back as well, which is going to be very good for them. France supposedly are going to be unchanged. Griezmann is the man with the golden boot, isn't he?
Yep.
So more than likely he's going to be the winner of the golden boot.
Yeah, sure. And I would, by the way, I would say that Portugal have got a chance of winning it, but they've only got that chance if Ronaldo has the game of his life, you know what I mean? Because I do believe they're a two-man team.
Yeah.
I believe that Portugal consist of Ronaldo and Nani, but they are their two forwards.
Yeah.
And the French do have frailties in their back four. If Portugal can adopt the attitude that the Brazilians adopted for so many years, about, never mind how many we concede, let's score more than them, they've got a chance.
Do you know what you've forgotten to do?
What?
You've forgotten to do this.
The daily tournament preview on TalkSport with the Caddy from Volkswagen Commercial Vehicles. Advanced safety and comfort your team can depend on.
I can't rely on you to do anything, can I?
Well,
you're going to do that before you start talking about the game.
Yes, but you see, I expected you to have sorted that out with our technical people. I think you're all over the shop this morning.
I can't do everything.
I think you're all over the shop. Why have you got a laptop stuck in front of you now? How many of these do you need?
I've got a laptop here because the people behind the glass are so inefficient, right, that they couldn't give us a team sheet.
Well, I can give you.
Well, you give me a team sheet then.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to know what the Portugal team is?
Yeah, go on.
You want to know?
Yeah, I want to know.
Patricio,
from
Soares, Fonte, Pepe, Guerrero, Carvalho, Sanchez, Mario Silva, Ronaldo and Nani, OK?
OK.
You want to know the French team?
Yes.
Loris, of course, is in goal.
He's the captain, isn't he?
Of course he is. And at the back, Sanya, Koscielny, Umatil, Evra.
Who?
And then the middle...
Who was the one before Evra?
Umatil.
Umatil?
Yeah.
Is it Umtitl?
Yeah, that's him, yeah.
Not Umatil.
That's him, don't worry. And then in the middle, of course, Pogba and Matuidi. Pogba.
See that story about Pogba's agent, by the way?
No, what was that?
Apparently Pogba is going to go for 110 million, right?
Yeah, that's right.
The agent has, for the first time, negotiated some kind of incredible fee of 30%. So this guy is going to make 30-odd million quid.
It's ridiculous.
30 million quid for one deal. Isn't that amazing?
And then I think he then gets 30% of all his wages.
Yeah.
He gets 30% of the next deal and all that. So I'll just finish this, shall I?
Yeah, go on.
Pogba and Matuidi.
Do you mean Matuidi?
Matuidi, of course I do. Matuidi, that's a guy I mean.
Right.
And then, of course, Sissoko, Griezmann,
yes.
Payet and Giroud.
Payet and Giroud, yeah.
Giroud, yeah.
I mean, a lot of these players play in the Premier League, of course.
So, why did you need a laptop to tell you all that?
Well, because I didn't have that information in front of me, so thank you very much for doing that.
That's okay.
But, I mean, here's the thing about Patrice Evra, right?
Yeah.
He's another Manchester United reject, isn't he? He's
yes,
the guy
in a
that
sense,
got sold by Manchester United because he was thought to be out of luck, run down, old, finished, and all that.
Well, that's right.
He could be a Euro winner.
Yeah, of course he could. Yeah.
I mean, how many more of these guys are there? Pogba as well.
Pogba, indeed. Yeah,
he was kicked out by Sir Alex Ferguson. At what point are people going to say, maybe Sir Alex Ferguson actually wasn't the genius that everybody thought he was in every single aspect?
Well,
of
look,
what he
I
did?
hate to dwell on this because, of course, his track record of success is incredible. But it must be the biggest mistake in the history of football to have let Pogba go for virtually nothing.
Yes.
To Juventus
and buy him back for 110 million.
I know, yeah. I know, it's quite amazing, isn't
what
it?
about poor old Juan Mata?
Juan Mata?
He's going to, every time he sees Jose Mourinho coming, he tries to hide. He's currently trying to hide in the laundry room.
I've been reading, by the way, in some of today's publications that Juan Mata, who was supposed to be going to Everton for £25 million, is in fact off to Europe somewhere.
So why is he not going to Everton? Does he not fancy going to such a low-ranked club?
No, I don't think Everton want him, to be honest. I don't think Everton want him.
They don't want him?
Once you go to your third...
Well, who are they signing? He's better than Juan Mata.
Well, I can't tell you that because I don't have inside information of the intense transfer activity at Goodison Park. But what I can tell you is that I believe that if you're suddenly moving on to your third Premier League club in the space of 4 years, then you're going to start to become what's known as a journeyman in Premier League terms.
But he was Player of the Year for Chelsea, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. But
that's the extraordinary thing.
But Mourinho didn't fancy him, so he's got no chance, has he, at Old Trafford?
No.
Because if he survives at Old Trafford, in a way, Jose is having to admit a mistake in getting rid of him at Chelsea.
Now, what about
Jose doesn't make mistakes?
Now, let's talk a little bit about, as well, some of these players that might or might not be moving. I mean, Griezmann, you'd have to say, from Atletico Madrid, is bound to be a target, is he not? If he wins the Golden Boot, do you not think someone's going to try and get him into the Premier League? Before the start of the season.
The contradiction here is that, of course, Atletico have been in the Champions League final twice in 3 years.
That's true,
4 years, twice in 4 years.
They have.
And yet they're still not recognised as a stellar club in Europe, despite the fantastic efforts of their manager and their coach.
Yeah,
they don't have the heritage and the history.
But they also haven't got the money. They have to rebuild their team practically every year.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
You know, because their top players normally get pinched, don't they?
So you would think he would be moving on, wouldn't you?
You would have thought so.
As to where, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it acceptable for players to cross the city in Madrid? I think it has happened.
It has happened.
Yeah, but
not very often.
Be very popular, would it?
No, I don't think so. No, they take it all a bit seriously.
And then Payet, of course, could be on the move, couldn't he?
Well, you know, I mean, people say Payet has come very good this year, but before this year, played for West Ham, he wasn't really that much of a stellar individual, you know.
No,
he is 29, isn't he?
They discovered him and developed him.
He is 29, isn't he?
Yes, he is 29. You have to give that to Slaven Bilic for saying, look, he recognised the talent there in the same way that Claudio Ranieri recognised there were some, lots of talent in the Leicester team and built them up and made them better. So you've got to give the credit to him.
Yeah. So how do you see this final panning out tonight? And where will you be watching it? More importantly,
I'll be watching it Chez Porky.
In which one of your abodes will you be in?
Stockbroker Belt.
Okay.
But I've got a social engagement this afternoon, so I'm going to be...
What sort of social engagement?
It's my sister's birthday, actually.
Oh, is it?
And
I do wish her many happy returns.
I wish her happy returns now. Adrienne, happy birthday, my dear. And I'll see you and all the groovy family, Porky family members later on.
Okay.
And we're going to have a barbecue in the back garden at the Parry homestead, what we regard as sort of, base, you know what I mean?
What, HQ?
HQ,
I thought it was in Bournemouth.
Well, that's the South Coast HQ. This is the Stockbroker Belt HQ.
Right.
And yes, have a what was I going to say? Lively afternoon, but not too lively as to interfere with the application to sporting events. Because, of course, by the time I get there, which will be about 3:30, I would expect the Wimbledon final to be in full flow.
Yeah. Well, it will be. And I think it's going to be tight, that as well.
I don't think it's going to be that tight. I think when Murray's on his game, I mean, although, his record, as I understand it, is this is his 11th Slam final. He's lost 8 and won 2 of the previous 10.
Right.
The 2 he won were against Djokovic, right? Yeah. But he lost 6 against Djokovic, and I think 2 to Federer. Yeah. But when he does beat Djokovic, he beats him in straight sets. Yeah. So you wonder whether, when he's on fire...
Hey? Are you sure about that?
Well, he won the last one in straight sets, didn't he? Yeah, he did, yeah.
I don't know.
The Wimbledon one. He won the Wimbledon one in 3 straight sets, I'm certain. Okay. Yeah, I had a bet on it, so...
Well, you maybe remember it better than I do.
I got a tip on a horse on Friday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You didn't tell me about it.
Well, 11-2.
Gamble responsibly, obviously.
Gamble responsibly. Yeah. £300.
11-2. You put £300 on it.
No.
Well, why didn't you tell me?
No, I shared it with another colleague.
Did you?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So you didn't make the call to me?
Well, I was with the other colleague, so it was easy just to speak, converse. Yes.
That's very kind. By the way, I got a tweet here from
and we're in the money.
Well, that's very nice for you. Thanks very much for letting me know.
Yeah, right.
Bojo says this: tell Brock there's nothing exciting in Canada. And he's referring, of course, to Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
Who's the guy that came back at the weekend and earned a unanimous decision victory in UFC 200 on Saturday night in Las Vegas.
Oh, is that the sport that sends me to sleep?
Well, you say it sends you to sleep, but if this guy was standing in the room, you would not be saying, there's nothing exciting happening in Canada.
Is that the one where grown men stay on their feet for about 20 seconds and they grapple with each other, roll round, and then spend the next 20 minutes hugging each other on the floor?
Some of them do that. Others just punch each other until one of them passes out.
Yeah,
I mean, it's quite brutal. Absolutely brutal. Anyway, listen, before we go, I want you to give us a prediction for your night this evening, Portugal versus France at the Stade de France. It's
Stade de France.
Live on TalkSport, 8 o'clock kickoff. Tell us.
Very close, but you can't write off Portugal because of Ronaldo and Nani, but it'll be France 2, Portugal 1.
I'm going to say it's going to go to penalties, and I reckon Portugal are going to win on penalties, with Ronaldo scoring the winning penalty.
Being the star of the show.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't rule that out. I wouldn't rule that out, to be honest.
All right, well, you've pretty made your prediction. You say France
I was
win.
at the game last time Portugal played in the Euro final, 2004, at home, huge favourite.
What, in Portugal?
Yeah, in Portugal, they were, against Greece.
Yeah.
They were much bigger favourites then than France are tonight on home territory. You know what I mean? And they lost. I think it was 1-0. I mean, a long time ago, but it was amazing. And the next morning, the nation was in mourning. If you see what I mean, in MOURN mourning.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
Because you see, Portugal has a bit of a fragile economy, and you wouldn't believe what a huge victory and that a nation can clock up does to the economy. Yeah. In fact, the very reason why Germany's what it is today is because it won the World Cup in 1954 against an Austrian team that were expected to win it.
Really?
No, I'm telling you.
Really?
I'm telling you.
Okay.
That kick-started the German economic revolution of the second half of the 20th century. Yeah, right. Without that, they wouldn't. They'd be like, they'd be
like England.
They'd be like Italy. I think. A bit.
Who won it since then? So it didn't work for them then.
Italy won it 4 times.
So why come their economy's in the toilet then?
Sorry?
Never mind. There isn't time. There isn't time. This is Talk Sport. We are the two mics, and of course we've got the Porky Sunday sermon coming up a little bit later on. So I hope you're prepared for that, Mr. Parry.
Yeah.
It's been pointed out to me by a couple of people on Twitter that you've previously said that you hate barbecues.
I don't like barbecues.
You've said that you hate barbecues.
Yes, it's
people
true.
that go to barbecues are complete and utter numpties. They stand around eating sort of raw chicken that's been burnt on the outside. Raw burgers.
Yeah.
And they are basically a collection of planks. So how does this tally with your apparent plans this afternoon?
Drinking warm wine, trying to,
warm beer.
flick away...
wearing shorts.
Mozzies and all that kind of
wasps.
stuff which are floating around. And
staggering about.
Trying to pretend that they love the outdoor life and all that.
Yeah.
No, I can't stand barbecues.
So why are you going to one?
Well, because it's a family get-together, and, I can't say to the family...
This presumably proves that you have absolutely no influence even in your own family.
Well, no, I can't...
They have a barbecue knowing that you hate them.
No, they don't. I've never told them I hate them.
Why not?
Well, because you don't sort of say those things to your family when they're trying to have a nice sociable day.
Okay.
But I can
what
hardly...
else have you kept from them
I can hardly
over
go
the
along
years?
and say, right, we're not having a barbecue, we're going to have it in the garage, right, because I don't like the outside, I prefer the inside.
Well, why don't you just have it in the living room like most people, the dining room?
Well, we could have it in the kitchen. It's got a big kitchen which has got a tiled floor.
A tiled floor?
So people could keep their shoes
How
on.
splendid.
Whereas if we went into the lounge, you'd have to take your shoes off, wouldn't you?
Why?
Well, because you would damage the carpet.
Does your other sister have the same kind of slipper fetish?
I don't know, really. I don't know. She hand
out slippers for people that come?
Well, I have my own pair of slippers there.
You have slippers there?
Of course I do, yeah. Sorry, what's the problem?
Well, even though you don't stay there?
No.
You just have slippers for when you pop round?
Yes, exactly,
How bizarre.
Yeah. Why?
You really are a very odd little man, aren't you?
They've got an Everton crest on the front.
Everton what?
A crest on the front. Yeah.
Everton slippers?
Yes.
At your sister's house where you're going for a barbecue?
Yes, that's right, actually.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but I won't be wearing them today because the barbecue's out on the patio underneath the awnings.
You're right. By the way, we've got a guest waiting, Barry Cowan.
Well, I don't know why you kept asking me about a barbecue.
I don't know why you keep talking about your barbecue, for heaven's sake. Barry Cowan is here, former British tennis player, of course, to tell us who he thinks is going to win this afternoon between Andy Murray and Milos Raonic. Barry, terribly sorry to keep you waiting there. We're banging on about barbecues. How are you?
I'm very well. Good morning to both of you. I was just wondering what Porky actually does like, because he doesn't like the sunshine either, does he?
No, I don't. I don't actually, no. But
he's a pretty miserable character,
You'll be happy then, Mike, that that it's raining at the moment.
Well, actually, I don't want it raining because I don't want the day spoilt for people. But the only thing you could say is, Barry, on finals day, the only court that matters is centre court, and that's got a cover, hasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly has.
It's got a roof.
The feeling is that this rain is going to pass around 1 o'clock. So I think the final will start at 2. And hopefully it will be outdoors, which I think we all want.
Yeah, I know that this question gets asked every year, Barry, but I mean, it still seems to me they haven't quite worked out what to do with this roof. I realise that there's all sorts of issues around the kind of, the atmosphere inside the centre court once they close the roof, and there's moisture and has to be avoided and all of that. And they'd rather play the game in the open air. But do you not think that they could be a bit more kind of, I don't know, positive and deliberate about when they close it and when they don't? They never seem to know what to do when there's a bit of rain.
Well, I think obviously it's an outdoor tournament, so they want to play outdoors. But there was one day last week in the first week where actually the forecast was there was no rain, and they got incredibly unlucky. There's this small band that was coming from the west, and it kept hitting SW19. But as soon as it starts raining, they make that. Well, they should make that decision. because what we all want is a match that is uninterrupted, shall I say.
Exactly, of course you do. Now, Barry, just looking at this game today, everybody's saying, well, it's given that Andy Murray's going to mop up his second Wimbledon title.
I'm not saying that.
But Barry, the thing is, when you look at Raonic, this is a man whose career Raonic is a man whose career is on the upward parabola, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, Mike, Porky, we should get you with Rupert.
Yes.
Because I've been working Rupert for these 2 weeks. You should hear some of his pronunciations of names.
Yes, good.
Yeah, don't get Rupert on the subject of Porky. He'll make your hair curl, some of the stories he's got about him.
But you're absolutely right. I'm not underestimating him, what he can potentially do. I thought there was such a massive moment mentally for him to win that match against
Federer.
Roger when he was down 2-1, because normally that match was done and it was over, but Raonic played great tennis, and in the fifth, he just didn't blink, did he? He absolutely went for it, and that's what he's got to do today. If he does that, then of course he can win. But the huge thing that's in Murray's favour is this is his 11th Grand Slam final. The previous 10, it was Djokovic or Federer that he had to play.
Yes.
So today, Raonic is his first Grand Slam. And I'm not keen when people say Raonic has got nothing to lose. Of course, he's got a lot to lose.
Yeah.
This might be his first and last Grand Slam final, so he's going to be a little bit nervous. And that's the experience that Andy has to draw upon. And I'm sure it's what Lendl's been stressing to him in the build-up.
Yeah. And don't you think as well that he kind of overcame Federer because he kind of overpowered him in a way, and Roger wasn't quite himself, and he's not perhaps the player that he was. He's had a few injuries this season as well, and he seemed to get a bit tired towards the end of the game, whereas Murray has no shortage of stamina, does he?
No, I mean, there's arguably no one fitter at the moment. Well, there's certainly no one fitter in the draw than Andy as soon as Djokovic lost. And in that fifth set, there was hopefully it won't be my lasting memories of Roger when he slipped over and he seemed to tweak his left knee. Of course, the left knee was the issue with him at the beginning of the year when he had to have minor surgery. And it has been a very difficult year for the seven-time champion. He sort of lacked big matches coming into it. And maybe that was the difference in that fourth set when inexplicably he lost his serve from being up 40-love, which he didn't do at all last year.
No, that's absolutely right. Now, Barry, do you think that, look, for many various reasons, Ivan Lendl couldn't be with Andy Murray for the last couple of years? They both had commitments which drove them apart, so to speak. But that's a wasted couple of years in Andy Murray's career, isn't it? Because he went backwards, didn't he, during those years that Lendl wasn't there in his corner?
Well, the way I view it, Mike, is that Andy improved, but Djokovic improved more.
Right.
And I don't think it's any coincidence that the two slams that Andy won, he beat Djokovic in the final.
Yeah.
And Novak hired Boris because he wanted Boris to help him take his tennis to a new level.
Yeah.
But I think the good thing about Andy is he often hasn't admitted he's been wrong, but he has on this occasion, and that's why as soon as he hired Lendl, he was my favourite for Wimbledon.
Oh, I see.
And also, I mean, to be fair to Maresmo, I mean, his win record actually went up. It was just he didn't win any Grand Slams.
Exactly, yeah.
And his Grand Slam kind of
in all
fairness,
I mean, Andy is that good. Andy he doesn't need a coach, and he still reach semi-finals of Grand Slams or win.
Yeah, but you want to get across the line, don't you?
Absolutely, it's about beating the very best, and that's when you need the coach. And Lendl helped him back in 2012. Lendl helped him when he won Wimbledon here in 2013. And Lendl's not going to sit down with Andy and talk to him for 2 hours. It might just be one or two words, and it's Lendl's experience of being there before, having failed in Grand Slam finals, and having been victorious in Grand Slam finals, of when to say those words. And also, he understands Andy, because it's not a case always of lecturing Andy Murray. It's about asking questions, about Andy opening up, and they have a wonderful relationship. And the difference for me, if you look at Roy Hodgson when he was manager of England last week against Iceland, in the second half he was a bag of nerves, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, actually, no wonder the players are a bag of nerves. But Lendl sits there in his box, no expression. Oh, I like that. It's almost he's sending the message to Andy saying, "Don't worry, I believe in you. It's all under control."
No, that's great. I'm told by experts, Barry, that Andy Murray is the fastest thing literally on two legs in the world over the first three paces.
What?
Yep, I'm told.
Who's told you that?
Experts.
What,
Do you agree with me, Barry?
Usain Bolt.
Yeah. Who's that
I've never heard that before.
No,
Barry.
I can't divulge my.
He dreamed this last night.
Excuse me. No. Excuse me. I cannot divulge my sources. Don't want to embarrass anybody. But I'm told that over the first three paces, right? Yeah. He's the fastest thing there's ever been. Fastest thing in the world.
Faster than you getting to the bar? You mean?
Faster than a racehorse.
But you know what is maybe very relevant is it's not just about the first 3 yards as a tennis player. You've also got to be able to coordinate.
Yeah.
And whenever he has a racket in his hand and he's chasing, he'll get there. But he then has incredible ability and talent, and also to be able to think clearly under pressure to make the right shot.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, that's what's remarkable. In semi-final, which he played the other day against Bird, I can barely remember him putting a foot wrong in terms of his shot selection. And
that's right.
That again is about being composed under real pressure.
And does it matter that Raonic has played a lot more sets in this tournament coming into the final? I think he's played about 5 or 6 more sets than Andy, who had those first 4 rounds like in 3 straight sets. Does that matter at this point?
I think it can, and I'm sure that would be something that Murray will be saying going into the final. Not only is he fitter, not only has he had more experience in Grand Slam finals, but he has spent less time on court. And only 2 days ago, for Murray, it was an easy match mentally, straightforward. For Raonic, that would have taken a lot out of him, especially to overcome the hurdle that is Roger Federer. So, taking all that into account, I have gone for Andy. I'm going to stick with my original pick, but it wouldn't be surprised to see it go 5.
OK, I'm also told, Barry, by the way, from a different expert, that Andy Murray has got the greatest backhand we've ever seen in a male champion.
I think Federer's is better.
Is that your same source?
Well, same guy, same guy in the same dream. Came to him holding a lamp in a long white beard.
Hang on, can we take this a bit more seriously, please? Barry, you're an expert, and Mike Graham isn't, so ignore the ramblings of
I'll take you on at tennis any day, mate. Any day.
You mean table tennis, mate?
I'll take you on at that as well.
You couldn't get across the tennis court. Sorry, Barry, the backhand?
I wouldn't need to move. I'd just make you do all the running.
Andy Murray's backhand?
The backhand is great, but I would give Djokovic the edge. But Djokovic is out.
Yeah, of course he is.
He's not the story. And ever since he lost to Querrey, which was such a surprise, Murray became the favourite. And it's the first time he's been a favourite to win a slam ever.
Yes.
And so far, I think he's handled the pressure absolutely brilliantly.
I totally agree. I'm also very impressed with Andy's serve.
That's one
with his.
We haven't got all day to talk about this.
And his return. His return is one of the best we've ever seen at Wimbledon, is it not?
It is. Yeah. He's
a very good tennis player.
Who's your tip? Are you going for Murray?
Well, Murray, trouble is, Barry, Porky here, who gets everything wrong.
Didn't you a few years ago, Porky? Weren't you a bit down on Murray?
He was, he was. He used to always go on about how he hated Andy Murray.
I've never
he was
said
a Scotsman who hated England. He gave us all that. Now, of course, he's in the final. Like every sort of, glory hunter, he's now backing him. But the problem, Barry, is that Porky's jinx is so strong. He's jinxed the world champions, right? He jinxed England out of the Euros. He's even jinxed this country out of the European Union. He said we were going to win that one as well.
I'm also told his mental strength is the best in the world at the moment as well, Barry.
We've said all that.
Yeah, I know, but
Barry, thanks. We've got to go because Porky's been talking for far too long. Enjoy the afternoon.
I've enjoyed it, guys. I really enjoy listening to you when I'm driving back down the M4
Barry,
in the morning.
Excellent.
No, honestly.
Barry, it's good of you. Thank you very much indeed. Don't be put off by the overbearing and rather rambling gait of old Mike Graham. Ignore him.
Thank you very much indeed. Barry Cowan there, former British tennis player, of course, saying that he thinks Murray will win. Could go to 5 sets though. A little bit of rain down at Wimbledon at the moment. We'll bring you up to date on whether the roof is going to be open or closed. This is TalkSport. This is TalkSport. We are the 2 mics. The British Grand Prix, of course, gets underway in not too very long from now. It's about 1 o'clock is the driving off. Surely the answer is for Porky to go straight into the garage on arrival at his sister's barbecue, says White.
Why should I be condemned to the garage?
Well, because, you'd only make a nuisance of yourself, won't you?
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah, but you won't want to eat any of the food, will you? What are they barbecuing, do you know?
Well, like barbecue stuff,
Well, barbecue stuff?
Yes.
Well, like what?
Well, hamburgers, I suppose.
Hamburgers,
sausages, yeah.
Chicken, anything
get
like
special
that?
sausages for
How
me,
about
because
some
I
nice
like
barbecue, like
skinless.
swordfish? We were talking about swordfish the other night.
Swordfish, might be a bit
barbecue
of swordfish.
swordfish is lovely. You put it in a little a soy sauce beforehand, marinate it a little bit, just put it on, slap it on.
Yeah, that sounds good,
Cook it quite well.
And I like it, I like it when they get all those extra bits, like
potato
corn.
salad?
No, corn. in...
Do you barbecue that in the leaves? You keep the leaves on?
No.
I'm
You
said about getting out of a tin.
No, get out of a jar.
A jar?
It's
what, like corn relish?
Corn relish, that's it. I love corn relish. Yeah, that's very
it's
good.
Not cool, is it?
Have a bit of that, Bit of tomato sauce.
Tomato sauce.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Such a gourmand, don't you? How about this from Kojak?
Yes.
He says, Smasheration Sunday for a sport that has cars racing around a track at 200 miles an hour. Not perhaps the best term.
I said smash records. By the way, you don't read out ones...
Smasheration Sunday.
Yeah, Smasheration, yeah. You don't read out ones like this, do you? What? Porky smashed old MG all over the place last week, calling the Formula One race spot on.
That's true.
Expecting that again today. So there you go, you see.
Well, what happened last week, as you will well remember, was that until about the final corner of the race, it looked as though Rosberg was going to win.
Yes.
And then suddenly, Hamilton pulls out around him, and there's a collision, which you could not possibly have foreseen.
I anticipated that.
No, you did not anticipate it at all.
I said he'll take him on the last bend.
You'd already put the white flag up.
I said to you...
No, you did not say that.
Which the audience couldn't hear. I said he'll take him on the last bend.
The audience couldn't hear it. What, did you whisper it while the microphones were on?
No. I said in a break, I said he'll take him on the last bend.
Don't tell lies.
You know I did.
How about this from...
You mustn't speak like that.
Gabriel, was Parry's sauce on Murray 3-step speed some bloke drinking strong cider he met on a train late last night?
That's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Now, shall we have a look at what's going on the back pages, by the way?
Okay, let's do that.
We've talked an awful lot about the football tonight.
Yes.
We've talked a bit about Juan Mata, who's actually the back page lead on the Express.
Juan Mata.
They've also got an interesting one.
What do they say? Where do they say he's going?
They don't say where he's going.
Somewhere?
They're just saying that they want to make room, basically, at Old Trafford, so that they can bring in Paul Pogba, right? Because it was a then record £37.1 million that Man United paid in 2014.
Sure.
Because they wanted him to play in a wider role.
Yes.
But apparently they didn't think, like Mourinho, that he worked hard enough in defence.
Indeed.
They don't say where he's going.
OK, Mail on Sunday
But they don't say he's going to Everton, that's for sure.
Says going for Gus, Hiddink in running for England with brief to bring on next boss.
Now,
Gus Hiddink is emerging as one of the stronger contenders for the England manager's job as FA technical director Dan Ashworth and his team draw up their shortlist
Dan,
this
as you
week.
call him.
Yeah.
Now, you were on Clash of the Titans yesterday, right?
Do you know what?
I didn't, unfortunately, get a chance to listen to it.
No, but can I tell you something?
I was too busy washing my hair.
Can I tell you something?
Go on, tell me.
I still am.
What?
It's running out on Talk Radio.
Is it?
On Talk
you mean
Sport
Talk Sport 2? Isn't that, don't you find that very off-putting, right? Because you walk down where we are currently on Talk Radio, Talk Sport 2 floor.
Yeah.
And as you walk in the door, you can hear Talk Sport.
That's right.
And as you come in through Talk Sport 2, you can hear something else from Talk Sport that was on at another time.
Yeah, but it's very exciting working in a multi-station complex.
But it can be quite confusing for someone.
No, it doesn't confuse me at all.
Who's so easily confused.
But anyway, yes, I was on.
Now, all I know from your appearance on that show was what I read on Twitter, subsequent to that, where you said, it has to be an England manager.
Yes.
You were banging the old, xenophobic drum.
No,
saying
it's not xenophobic to say that.
It is xenophobic.
No, it's not.
How can you join up the two phrases, best man for the job and English manager?
Yes.
Because best man for the job isn't English.
No, well, I'm sorry. In my view, he is, because the fact that you've got an England manager, in my view, makes it easier to work with English players and you'll get the best out of them.
Absolute rubbish.
But I did say as well, I said if Klinsmann gets it, I'm thinking of disassociating myself from the England team altogether.
Well, that might be a good thing for them.
I mean,
excuse me, I suggested to you Klinsmann was in the running for it about a month ago, right?
The nemesis of England...
You said there was no chance of him getting it.
The nemesis of England is Germany. I just don't think we can have a German coach.
Why not?
We're
all in it together
doesn't add
now.
up. Just doesn't add up.
No, it doesn't matter.
We're not all in it together now. We've just voted to come out of Europe. So
but we're not leaving Europe. The fact that we may not be in the European Union doesn't mean we're actually leaving Europe. We haven't floated off into the mid-Atlantic somewhere.
Seems a bit odd. We want to disassociate ourselves from the European project and then appoint a German manager.
Why?
I would prefer an English manager.
Why?
And there's a lot of speculation this morning that guy's going to be Eddie Howe with what
on earth makes anyone think Eddie Howe is ready to manage England?
Well, he's 38 years of age.
Oh, great. OK, let's give it to him then.
And he's full of ideas. Yes, but you see, you've not been keeping up. The idea is that Eddie Howe takes it with a more senior and experienced guy.
What, you mean like Harry Redknapp?
Or Sam Allardyce.
This is something that you denied the other night. When I suggested that Harry Redknapp... Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You forget what you say on this show, right?
I don't.
When we were on the other night, I said to you, Harry Redknapp is in the frame not for the England manager's job, but for an overarching kind of executive position.
Yes.
Because he believes you should hire a young manager who should then be kind of coached and schooled and taught as mentor-like by someone like Harry Redknapp.
Yes.
You said absolute rubbish. You said Harry Redknapp wants the England manager's job.
Yes, he does. He
That's
wants the job
said.
for himself. But if
No.
he can't have that, the second best for him would be to take the sort of elevated role.
I just wish you could remember what you said, because then we could have a consistent conversation.
Klinsmann, all yours. US soccer chiefs won't block England move. This is Steve Brenner on the Sunday Mirror. Jurgen Klinsmann.
Good man, Steve Brenner.
Is free to rescue England after their Euro 2016 nightmare. German legend and former Tottenham striker. Contract with the US national team runs until the end of the World Cup in 2018. But a simmering row with his boss, Sunil Gulati, the head of US soccer, has ensured no one will stand in his way.
Right. It says on the back page of The Sun that Jose is going to axe 8 stars.
Yes, I know.
Doesn't say specifically who those 8 stars are going to be.
Well, I think we can guess at a few of them. Fellaini, Mata. Because, funny enough, you crossed that with the Sunday Mirror have got here. You said that you don't know where Mata's going.
Yeah.
Steve Bates, an old mate of mine, says Juan Mata has been offered to Juventus in a bid by Manchester United to land £100 million France midfielder Paul Pogba.
Yeah, right.
So Mata might be used as a sort of part exchange player.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, we'll see who he ends up getting rid of. Now, a couple of tweets for you on Canada.
Yeah.
Canada's produced comedy legends like Jim Carrey, John Candy, Dan Aykroyd and Leslie Nielsen.
Jim Carrey's the unfunniest man I've ever seen on the silver screen.
Funny. He is very funny.
I can't understand how anybody can find
Jim
him funny.
Carrey?
Well,
have you not seen Pet Detective?
That's what I was going to say. He did the one about the dog being the dog
Pet
detective or something. Yeah,
one of the funniest films you've ever seen.
Load of
How can you not think that's funny?
And what was the other one?
What about Mask? Have you not seen Mask? He's
Is that
brilliant
the
in
one where
that.
he pulls a lot of funny faces?
Yeah.
No.
Well, the Mask does, actually, not him.
Didn't do anything for me.
He pulls a lot of funny faces. Liar, Liar, very funny film.
Which is the one in which he comes down a set of stairs and he's wearing like a fox around his neck or something, or some sort of animal.
That's the Pet Detective.
That's Pet Detective, is it? Yeah, very unfunny. Very unfunny.
Really?
I'm sorry, I just can't get it at all. I just don't get it.
It doesn't surprise me. It's probably too clever for you.
No, it's not too clever. It's just too bizarre.
Actually, Gab says he's a whole lot funnier than all of these people who you probably think are really funny, right? Norman Wisdom, Cannonball, Michael McIntyre, and Bernard Manning.
Well, I laughed at all of them. Yeah, I did. Yeah,
so you have a very unsophisticated sense of humour.
No, it's because I'm from the gritty northern climes of this
why
country.
Why don't you stay up there? Then? Why don't you live there?
Well, because
you didn't want to live there. You wanted to move south, where it's more sophisticated, right?
No. As my talent spread,
Really?
I'm afraid that the venues for my talent had to take a wider,
Is that
more
right?
worldwide sort of base.
Yeah,
you know
by the
way,
you said that Djokovic and Murray met when Murray beat him in 3 straight sets.
Yes.
Not in the US Singles Open, apparently. It was a 5-setter.
Yeah, I know he was, but the Wimbledon one was 3 sets.
You said he won in 3 straight sets in both games.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. I said the last time you beat him at Wimbledon, it was in 3 straight sets.
It's getting very tiresome.
Believe me.
All this denial that you do.
I know these things.
Denial.
No, I don't
Johnny says, why the hell would Howe leave Bournemouth for a part-time job? That's a very good point. Who would want the job? If you were Eddie Howe, you'd stay where you were, wouldn't you?
Well, maybe. And again, Juan Mata has been offered to Juventus by Manchester United.
Mata.
Yeah, Juan.
It's not Yuan.
Juan.
He's not Chinese.
Hey, by the way, did you like Lewis Hamilton's hat? What do they call it? The baseball cap he was wearing.
I didn't see it.
Well, he was wearing a blue one.
Time, by the way.
And it had the Mercedes badge on the front, which is very distinctive, isn't it? Because both you and I own Mercedes cars, so you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I've got 2 now.
You've got 2 now, yeah. So one is the wreck.
One's the wreck, yeah.
What does the mother of your children call it?
I can't say on the air what she calls it, but it's not a very nice word.
It's like the junk mobile.
The junk heap,
the junk heap,
like that,
yeah, that's right.
She refuses to drive it now.
Whereas mine, of course, is...
Just as I got her a new one, she now refuses to drive the old one.
The highest spec Mercs that is on the market. But anyway, the point is, so he's got that, but then underneath the peak of his baseball cap, he's got the Union Jack. It looks brilliant.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Why don't you get one?
I might do. If there was one around, I would.
Wear it to our show in rugby, which is next Saturday, of course.
By the way, that is. And
no, you have to stop talking for a second because we're nearly running out of time.
Yes, I know.
Is that okay with you?
But don't worry, tickets are going fast.
Yeah, all right, this is Talk Sport. This is Talk Sport. We are the 2 mics. Anthony says this to you, Mr. Parry. Porky, can we have a Formula 1 prediction after correctly predicting a Lewis Hamilton win last Sunday? Well, you've already predicted that Lewis Hamilton's going to win, haven't you?
Yes, I have, yes.
So you've already made that prediction.
I already made the prediction, and I made the prediction.
Anthony?
I made the prediction before the pole situation was sorted out, of course, before final practice.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Well, if you say so.
Because you've got to remember, if you were following it yesterday, he was going to lose pole position until his very last lap.
I was out with the family yesterday.
I
wasn't glued
setting
to
fire
television.
to things.
No, I went to Canberra Sands, actually, but I'll tell you more about that later.
Okay.
Here's one from Ian. It says, Porky made abysmal mistakes in yesterday's show. He called Tim Henman Tim Henmanson and said France was not a footballing nation.
No, I didn't. I had a discussion with...
Tim Henmanson.
I had a discussion with Cass, right? Tony Cascarino.
Right.
By the way, it's interesting to know that we have presenters on this station now who are so elevated in their life, they turn up here at Talk Sport in brand new cars with... personalised number plates.
Oh, is that right?
Cass 1.
Well, why are you giving away his number plate? Well, now everybody knows what his number plate is.
No, they don't, because it's not Cass 1, but it's a personalised number plate.
Okay, so that's not true either.
No,
are you going to say anything that's actually true on the show
it's
today?
true. I just didn't want to give away that.
So you've already given it away, and you've now realised that you shouldn't have done, so now you're trying to backtrack.
No, because I said that in the show, and Cass actually, because I was kind, I didn't give it away. Cass then blurted out, "No, it's not that," and they gave the real one out. So I'm afraid.
And is it also not true that you suggested to him that Klinsmann never won anything? to which he said he's won the World Cup.
Yes, I know that. I knew he won the World Cup. Yeah,
so when you said, what's he ever won?
I'm talking about as a manager.
Oh, I see.
As a manager. As a coach, he hadn't won anything.
All right.
But,
how about this one
and by the way, I never said that...
why do you just keep denying everything you've
France
ever said?
are not a rugby nation. I said to Cass, there's certain perceptions that that France is more of a rugby nation. And Cass explained which areas of France were very strong in football.
Yeah.
Anyway,
how about this one from David, who says automatic awning are more like automatic yawning. #plank. And White says awning light sensor. Does that mean it comes down in the dark? You idiot!
No, it comes out when the sun shines.
Unbelievable.
When the sun shines, right? There's this light meter, and it go boomf, and then you hear this sort of hissing noise, and it's the awnings coming out. Yeah.
You sure that's what it is? You sure it's not the gas leaking out of the barbecue thing?
No.
Here's this from D. Yeah. No doubt Porky's hated Jim Carrey since he starred in the film with the perfect title for Parry's biography, Liar, Liar. The listeners are not fooled, you know. James says, as usual, Mike Parry resorts to denial, amnesia, or just shouting louder to cover up his rubbish predictions.
Well, I think you've been doing a bit of shouting this morning. I think you might be a bit overexcited about setting fire to things last night.
Well, I do get a certain buzz out of that. Yeah, it sort of increases my machismo somehow.
Yes, yeah.
Now, because it's Sunday, basically, don't forget, this is your chance to give a little bit of spiritual guidance to the nation. So it's time for the Porky Sermon. Now, for those of you who haven't listened to us on the warm-up before, this is where I read a passage from the good book to Mr. Parry, and he then interprets it for us into a modern-day kind of parable and lets us know what it means for your life, okay? Today's selection is from Luke 9, verses 46 to 48.
Oh, yeah, I know it,
It says, an argument started among the disciples as to which of them would be the greatest. Jesus, knowing their thoughts, took a little child and had him stand beside him. Then he said to them, whoever welcomes this little child in my name welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. For it is the one who is least among you all who is the greatest.
Right.
Here endeth the sermon. I think that's very apt for somebody with a head as large as yours.
No, this is excellent.
Be more humble, I think.
Yes, this is excellent. I was well aware of this passage from the Bible, actually, because it's...
one you refer to often, is it?
Well, it's been big in my mind since my Bible class days at school.
Really?
When I studied Scripture.
Were you top of the class?
No, but I was good. because I treated it more as an historical adventure, the Bible, rather than a sort of religious one, you know.
Okay.
That's how I got to know it. Now, what this means is, and do you know why this is so relevant today? This is all about teamwork. This is about what we've just been talking about to John Watson.
Yeah.
It's about, you have to work as a team to get things done.
Which is exactly what Lewis Hamilton doesn't do.
Well, this is what he's been asked to do, and this is very, very factually correct about how the Bible can sometimes interpret things that you have to do in life. Now, for instance, how do you think Wales got as far as they got into the Euro Championships?
Because they had a very good manager and they played as a team.
Teamwork, okay?
Yeah.
How do you think the French have got as far as they've got?
This is not going to turn into that
teamwork,
scene from The Untouchables.
What's that?
You know, where Al Capone starts talking about teamwork and then he ends up bashing some guy's head in with a baseball bat.
With a baseball bat. He walks behind him, doesn't he?
Yeah, man walks out on the field.
Yeah, we got to be a team.
Plays for himself.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
All that.
So I'll read it to you again and interpret every word. An argument started among the disciples as to which one of them would be the greatest.
Yes.
First of all, humility is the word. You cannot want to be the greatest unless you're Muhammad Ali, okay?
Right.
Because Muhammad Ali was the greatest, wanted to be the greatest, because he knew the way that people would interpret that was that he was actually speaking the truth, okay?
Yes.
But you can't have average members of society trying to become the greatest, okay?
That's true.
So Jesus, who was their leader, knowing their thoughts, took a little child and had him stand beside him.
Yeah, I read that bit already.
Now, that little child is not a little child. That little child is a figurine, okay? Do you see what I mean?
What, you mean it's not actually a child?
It's not actually a child. It is a symbol. It's symbolic of, come to me, little child. You know what I mean? It's a biblical expression, you know, what's it called? Look after little children or something like that. You know what I mean?
Well, you're the expert.
Yeah, well, it is. Spare the child.
Suffer the little children.
Suffer the little children. That's it. That's the word I was looking for. That's the expression. Suffer the little children.
Right.
So Jesus says...
Everybody's suffering at the moment.
So it's come to me. Then he says to them, whoever welcomes this little child in my name...
Yeah, I read it out already.
Yeah, well, I'm interpreting every word.
Read it out again.
No, I'm interpreting every word. Welcomes me, okay?
Yeah.
Whoever welcomes this little child welcomes me. So what he's saying is he's saying there is no difference between me, Jesus, who is an almighty presence, and this suffer little child who is a non-entity.
A non-entity.
A non-presence.
You see, it's the trouble with people like you. You don't have children, so you think they're a non-entity. Children are not non-entities.
No, non-entities in comparison to Jesus, in the sense that
but
the
that's
child's
exactly what he's
parents
not
aren't
saying.
there, so the child has no relevance to the
But that's precisely what he's
position
not
it's in.
saying. You can't call a child a non-entity.
And then...
It's a shocking thing to say.
And then, whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. So what he's saying is, the Almighty. The Almighty is overlooking all this. It's an umbrella sort of situation. And then he says...
God.
For it is the one who is least among you all who is the greatest.
Yeah.
Now, what that means, Mike, and that's the salient sentence, is that if you are humble, if you have humility...
Which you're not.
Sorry?
Which you're not.
If you're humble and if you have humility, you will indeed arise and rise even.
Enter the kingdom of heaven.
Enter the kingdom of heaven.
Well, it looks like you're going to hell then,
There
doesn't
you go.
it? Because you're the least humble person I know.
How's that?
Thank you very much indeed.
Explained in a few seconds.
That was the Porky sermon for today.
Teamwork.
Sunday. It really is quite frightening the way when you say teamwork, it sounds exactly like Robert De Niro as Al Capone. I'm worried if you've got a baseball bat there. Somebody sent in a horrendous picture, actually, of somebody that they found, asking if this is from the Parry family album.
No, it's not.
Of you as a small child, or non-entity, as you would put it.
Yeah, that's terrible.
A couple of more things here on Twitter. Porky's knowledge, says Stephen, on all sports is superb.
Thank you.
We are lucky to have someone with such deep sporting insight.
Thank you.
He is a broadcasting legend.
That's right. I tell you who I know
Do you
a lot
think he's
about.
doing that tongue-in-cheek?
You know who I know a lot about, don't you?
What do you know a lot about?
Fred Perry.
You know a lot about Fred Perry?
Fred Perry.
What do you know about Fred Perry?
Well, it's very relevant because today Andy Murray will play his 11th Grand Slam final.
Grand Slam, yeah.
Which is
it
one more
one
now
more?
than Fred Perry.
It is one
Fred
more,
Perry
yeah.
played 10.
Yeah.
Thing is, Fred Perry
How many
won
Grand
more.
Slams did Fred Perry win then? You don't know, do you?
It's a good question. He won...
I thought you knew a lot about Fred Perry.
I do. I know a lot about
clearly,
Fred Perry.
Well, then why don't you know how many Grand Slams he won?
How many Grand Slams did Fred Perry win? 6.
And you just failed that?
No. It's about 6.
About 6?
Yes.
Well, Andy Murray's only won 2, hasn't he?
He's only won 2, yeah. And he keeps losing them to.
Well, he's not going to lose to Djokovic. But I really do think that you must not sort of dismiss Raonic.
Well,
because he's
I'm
one
not...
of the coming players, isn't he?
Well, he's
only 25. He's only 25.
Is he one of the coming players, or is he peaked? Is this going to be his peak?
This is not his peak. He's
number
only
6
25.
seed. Number 6
Have
seed.
you
right?
noticed, by the way, that the age of Wimbledon winners and the age of Wimbledon finalists is actually going up?
Of course I am.
Rather than going down.
Of course I'm aware of that.
You're aware of that.
That's why Federer's still got a chance.
So what I'm saying is Raonic.
Yes.
Well, Federer hasn't got a chance. He's out.
No, that's why he's got a chance of adding to his huge.
Well, you know
number
what? After what
of,
happened to him, did you watch the match on Friday?
Yes.
Did you?
Yes.
When he fell down,
yes.
It was one of those awful moments where you
would he get up again?
You were willing him to get up. He looked He looked like a guy who was at the end of his rope, as it were.
Indeed.
He was sort of on the ground. He looked like he'd done his knee in.
Yep.
And it was a horrible moment because you thought, this legend should not be lying face down on the floor. You know what I mean?
I totally agree.
And I think this guy at 25 has got another 5, maybe 7 years ahead of him.
Wow.
So I think you've got to be very careful about dismissing him.
Yeah, but I don't think he's that good.
Hand.
He's only number 6 now. So I'll tell you what I was reading this morning, the Jorn Borg story. I mean, that is just incredible.
What, the book?
No, his life, his life story.
You were reading a book?
No, I wasn't reading a book. I was reading it online. That's what I do. And
you were reading a book online.
He won his first one when he was 20. Then he won it for the next 5 years. Right, it's utterly incredible.
That's when players used to win them younger. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he still holds records.
Seems a time, by the way.
He still holds records for at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
He only ever lost 2 games, 2 matches rather. 2 matches.
Yeah.
How about that?
To McEnroe.
One to McEnroe.
Yeah.
And
one to Connors, maybe?
On to the guy after McEnroe. But what I'm saying is, he has...
Pete Sampras?
No, it wasn't. No. It was years before Sampras. He has the highest win ratio of any male competitor ever at Wimbledon.
The Red Arrows are going over the Grand Prix site.
Are they?
I think they're the Red Arrows.
Yeah, I don't think they're that impressive, the Red Arrows.
What?
I don't think they're that impressive. Yes, I have, yeah.
You've seen them actually live?
I have, yes.
I don't mean on television.
No, I've seen them off the South Coast a number of times, actually.
Really?
And
I thought they were brilliant. I saw them over Hastings once. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I think they're right, but it's like fireworks. I'm not a big
like
fireworks fan. Not much. I think they're boring.
Mind you, I'll tell you what will be really exciting for you this afternoon when the old automatic awning comes out. That'll be great, won't it? This is Talk Sport. This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mics. There will be a podcast coming out a little bit later on, of course, and we are, as we mentioned earlier, on Talk Radio this week from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday to Friday.
That's right.
We'll be sleeping through the night, I will anyway, which should be quite interesting, won't it?
Help me make it through the night.
No, I don't want to do that. But, I mean, you said to me you're going to get in the office about 5 a.m. or something, right?
Well, you know, I
don't know
like...
what for.
Well, I don't like rush hours because they bug me.
Oh, yeah.
So,
of course, because you have to come in from, sort of suburbia, don't you?
Well, maybe Stockbroker Belt, maybe from the coast. I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
I haven't decided whether I'm going to use the bus or the train. I think I'm probably going to use the tube.
Oh, you really?
Yeah,
good. That's great. Man of the people. Listen, I was telling you about Fred
no
Perry.
Interest in my
yes,
what
I have.
do, unless you can criticise me for something,
no.
right? You have no interest in anything that I do.
So you think that while I sit here and you ribaldry mock my family just because they live in a nice house and they've got awnings?
No, I'm mocking them because they've got an automatic awning.
You're not having a go at me? Yeah.
No, I'm having a go at the sort of ridiculous, conceited nature of somebody that would want to have an automatic awning.
Why?
What are you doing now?
The wire's got a bit
you're
confused.
You're very expensive headphones.
That's right.
Up.
No. Anyway, look, I want to talk to you about Fred Perry because it is the day of the Wimbledon finals. Now, did you know that Fred Perry was a mass Rogeriser?
I did not know that.
He's a mass Rogeriser, right? So in the 30s and 40s, because he was winning all these tennis competitions, but he was an amateur, he was introduced to all sorts of people.
Right.
Do you know he had an
Was he never married?
Yes, I'm going to tell you all about this.
He was married, okay.
No, he had affairs with... This is an incredible list. This makes him one of the greatest Rogerisers of all time.
Okay.
Actresses Jean Harlow.
Right.
Marlene Dietrich.
Yes. Dietrich.
Betty Davis.
Bet Davis.
And she's got Betty Davis eyes. That was Kim Carner.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Kim Carnes.
Kim Carnes, that's right. And Loretta Young.
Yes.
I mean, that is some track record.
Well, it's 4 women.
That is some track... Yeah, but 4 of the most famous women in the world and Hollywood actresses.
Well, he was a major tennis star.
Anyway, he married 4 times, to answer your question.
4 times,
yeah.
goodness.
First to another actress called Helen Vinson.
Oh, yeah.
Then to the world's most famous model at the time, Sandra Breux, B-R-E-A-U-X.
I've heard of her.
Then to Lorraine Walsh.
Uh-huh.
And finally, he must have suddenly given up his wicked ways because he married a lady called Barbara Reese in 1952.
Uh-huh.
And guess how long that marriage lasted?
Until the end of his life?
40 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 40 years.
Well, then he must have finally settled down.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, he's a bit like you, going around sowing wild oats all over the place and causing chaos and panic.
Absolute rubbish.
And then settles down.
Shocking thing to say.
Now, also, he was a chocolate fanatic. He used to love chocolate and boiled sweets.
Fanatic?
Yeah.
What do you mean, like chocolate?
You like chocolate,
What's the definition of a chocolate fanatic? You like chocolate.
Yeah,
you have chocolate
I do.
tins of chocolate in the back of your car.
No, I don't.
Drive around with them.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, that's only if I forgot to give them to somebody at Christmas.
Well, yeah, but have you got any in there at the moment?
No, I haven't, no.
Sure?
Yeah, honestly.
You're always turning up with chocolate, though.
No, I don't.
I mean, quite often to give me some, which is very nice of you.
I occasionally get you a Boost bar out of the machine or something like that.
No, I thought you got them out of the boot of the car.
No, I haven't got anything in my boot. Anyway, listen.
Go on.
Now, the problem was he was so addicted to chocolate and boiled sweets, he took up smoking a pipe.
What?
He took up
why would he do that? Because he was addicted to chocolate?
Because you can't have a bar of Cadbury's chocolate in your gob if you're sucking on a pipe and smoking a pipe. It doesn't work.
Well, you can.
You can't because...
Yeah, you can.
Well, what would chocolate taste like if you ate it while you were smoking a pipe? You idiot.
It can be done, is what I'm saying.
Well, it's ridiculous. Now then, the other thing is, and I have to say, I'm homing in towards this particular trait that Fred Perry had.
What's that?
He would always refuse to shake anybody's hand for a week before a match.
Why?
He feared he would lose the feeling in his fingers.
What?
Yeah, and
I thought it was something to do with germs, maybe.
No,
it's
germs in my case.
Yeah.
I think the whole world should give up shaking hands.
You've said that in the past,
yeah.
But then I've seen you shaking hands with people as well.
It's rude not to, because they might think that you're being rude. But
Why don't you just wear a pair of those latex gloves?
Well, that's what I think I'm going to do.
Just walk around with latex gloves.
No, I'm serious.
Because that's not weird at all, is it?
Well, it might be weird or not, but it's stopped me getting pneumonia and all that kind of stuff, then I'm going to do it.
Especially if you have to travel with the great unwashed on the way into work.
This is a bit a problem. Now then, the other thing he used to do... Now, you know how Frankie Dettori leaps off his horse when he's won a race?
Yeah.
By the way, do you know why he does that?
Why?
His mother was a trapeze artist.
Was she?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And so he was taught to do that at an early age. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Leaps off his horse.
Sort of homage to his mother.
Well, no, it's because he came from a family that... He used to spend a lot of time leaping around because his
like
mother...
John Major. Do you remember? I remember when I first
was a clown, wasn't he?
When I first met John Major, he was in the circus, right? He was a trapeze artist.
Yeah, that's...
And I met him. Was at the UN.
No, John Major wasn't. His father was.
No, his father was.
That's
yeah,
right.
But his father was a trapeze artist in the circus, right? And I was in New York, and he was a foreign minister, I think, under Thatcher's government.
That's right. He was.
And
foreign
I had to go and meet him as part of some, party thing that was going on. And we were all joking that this won't work really on radio, but the idea was that instead of putting your right hand out to shake it, you were supposed to put your hands like as if they were going in the chalk and rub them together and grip his wrists.
Yeah.
You know, like they gripped both wrists rather than shaking hands.
Yeah, it is rather unfunny, that.
But no, it would have been very funny, but nobody had the cojones to do it.
No,
It was might have been a bit disrespectful to a Minister of the Crown.
Exactly. But anyway, because of that, at the end of each game, to prove he was the fittest tennis player ever, he went and leapt over the net.
Leapt over the net, oh yeah.
You know, before his opponent had a chance to get up to the net, Fred Perry would leap over.
My dad used to do that when I played tennis with
him.
Did
he?
If he beat me, he used to leap over the net.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, really?
Yeah.
That's quite a high net, that.
Yeah, well, I used to do it as well. I mean, you can do it.
Oh, you couldn't do it now.
I probably couldn't do it now, no.
It looks
but
ridiculous.
I could do it when I was like 14.
Now,
you couldn't never do it. You'd have to stand on a box.
No, I've done it often. Now then, and away from the court, he became an expert jazz dancer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Dancing to jazz songs, right?
Jazz.
And he loved dance tunes. Now, the other thing you didn't know is he was born not very far away from me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, how about that?
Stockbroker Belt, Surrey, or do you mean Chester?
No, from Chester. He was born in Stockport, which is in Cheshire. Yeah,
right.
Stockport's in Cheshire,
Okay.
right? And
did he talk like a man from Stockport, or did he change his voice like
I don't
you
know,
have?
actually, because I've never heard his voice. But anyway, now, the reason he turned...
I think we know enough about Fred Perry.
This is more interesting. He was the Wimbledon tennis champion, so he often travelled to America playing tournaments there.
Yeah.
And, as I say, he got to Hollywood a lot because he was Rogerising with all these famous actresses.
Yes.
Now, he then bumped into this bloke who he described as a bit of an oddball, and it turned out to be Harpo Marx.
Oh, yeah.
Was he the one who didn't speak?
He was the one that didn't speak.
Yeah, well, this is...
He's very funny.
This is
do you not think the Marx Brothers are funny either?
Oh, I thought they were great.
Okay.
A Day at the Races? Mm-hmm. Yeah, A Night at the Opera?
Duck Soup?
Duck Soup, yeah, I've seen all those. And this is a bit of an oddity because I thought Harpo Marx was dumb, but he told... No. Harpo Marx said to him, why don't you turn professional? And Fred Perry said, why should I do that? He said...
And presumably Fred Perry said, I had no idea you could talk.
Probably, yeah. He was probably in the same room as Harpo Marx.
Yeah.
When Harpo Marx said, why don't you professionally? Probably started looking around. Who was that? Somebody else in here? And anyway, Harpo Marx, he said, told him the wisest thing he's ever been told.
Oh, yeah.
You can't buy groceries with glory.
Yeah, that's very true.
Okay?
Yeah.
So he turned professional in 1937 and immediately began to make thousands and thousands of pounds.
Right.
And so the Rogerisation machine was ratcheted up a bit,
Yeah,
okay?
okay.
Now, he was so famous that he often used to go and have training sessions with Arsenal in the 30s when Herbert Chapman was their legendary manager,
right, okay. Yeah. So he lived in London, presumably. He didn't live in Stockport.
No, he lived in London.
Yeah.
He was the world number one for 5 years.
Right.
That's as long as anybody else has ever been number one.
Are you sure?
Yes, absolutely certain.
Are you sure that Djokovic hasn't been world number one for that long?
No, not continuously.
Or Federer?
Not continuously,
No?
without a break.
Oh,
No.
okay. Well, remember to check that out. By the way, I can tell you who beat Bjorn Borg, if you like.
Yes.
Ismail El Shafi in the third round in 1975.
He was the Egyptian, wasn't he?
I think he was. Yes. Arthur Ashe beat him as well. Roger Taylor, it says here.
Roger Taylor.
He's
the British guy.
Yeah, he beat
remember that.
Beat Bjorn Borg.
Yeah. Now, when he won Wimbledon in 1936... £10 was his prize money.
£10.
Or £640 in today's money.
Oh, yeah.
And today, Andy Murray, if he wins, or if his Canadian opponent wins, they will pick up a cheque for £2 million.
Yes.
Now, old Fred Perry had gamesmanship. He invented gamesmanship. And you can probably work this out. He used the tactic of saying, very clever, after an opponent's shot. Which is said to have driven some of his competitors mad with rage and frustration.
Well, because he was trying to make out that it was a compliment and they didn't like it.
Very clever.
Yeah.
And on 2 occasions, his competitors went to the umpire and said, if he repeats that again, I'm walking off court.
Really?
So you used to wind him up, yeah.
I
Clever.
There is a certain kind of law or etiquette, isn't there, in tennis, where you don't really say anything to your opponent.
Wind up your opponent.
But I presume you can, and you can see them sometimes talking to each other as they go back to the chairs,
Yes.
particularly if they cross each other. But generally speaking, they don't really interact with each other. I mean, they can shout and scream, they can have a go at the umpires or the line judges.
Sure.
They don't really say anything to each other, do they?
No, that's absolutely true. They don't. And neither would I. You see, that's the whole idea, isn't it?
Is that your fact file done then on Fred Perry?
Well, yeah, I thought that was all very interesting.
Well,
actually.
I was interested about half of it, I would say.
Oh, well, I was interested in all of it.
Completely pointless.
No, I was interested in all of it.
How about this from D?
Yes.
It says, so Porky doesn't rate the red arrows, then perhaps he'd be good enough to get off his backside and show us all how it should be done.
Well, I haven't yet got a pilot's licence.
And Scottish Bully says, did King Plank himself, Porky, seriously just say the red arrows were not that impressive? What an idiot.
Well, no, No, all I said is that, look, some people like staring up at the sky and seeing pretty patterns made out of blue, white and red cloud.
Yeah.
And I accept that, and it brings a lot of pleasure
but
to,
have you not seen
to
the
a lot
way,
of people.
I mean, when I watched them, and they were doing like a sort of a practice run, basically, for something they were going to do, I think, over the Queen's birthday or something like that.
Right, okay, yeah.
And so it was like a free air show. It was brilliant.
Excellent.
So they did this thing where they formed a heart in the sky.
Yes, that's right.
And the two planes that were actually doing that at one point came within literally a whisker of hitting each other.
Yes.
They flew right at each other.
Well, that's an optical illusion, of course.
Well, no, but it's incredible.
They get very close, I agree.
Yeah, but it's incredible. How
Yes.
can you not think that's exciting?
Well, maybe I've seen him too many times, but all I'm saying is
You're
that...
such a killjoy. You're just a killjoy.
Would you like fireworks?
Yeah, I quite like fireworks.
Well, I mean, I don't see the appeal of fireworks at all.
I don't like them at all.
If I go to a firework display, I always think the first 5 minutes of ooh, is very impressive.
No, by the time the fireworks go off, you're probably bladdered anyway, so you probably can't even make out what's going on in the
And
sky.
then after 5 minutes, I'm thinking, why is this all happening again? What is new about this? Ooh, this thing's exploded in the sky.
Well, some of the fireworks that you see now are so spectacular. You probably haven't been to a firework display for a year. They are so spectacular. They are breathtaking sometimes.
The last time you were in my South Coast penthouse, there was a firework display over Portsmouth Harbour,
That's
if you
right,
remember.
which was okay,
Yes.
I would say.
Okay,
I would have given it about 6 out of 10.
Well, we weren't watching it properly. We were indoors drinking.
No, we were standing on the balcony watching it. They were going off at the same...
we were indoors.
I was out on the balcony because I was smoking, and you wouldn't let me smoke inside, would you?
Right, no, I won't, no.
Anyway, that's
absolutely.
enough about you.
Yeah.
This is Talk Sport. We're getting very close to the start of the Grand Prix. Good afternoon, I'm Mike Graham, he's Mike Parry. You're listening to Two Mics on the warm-up. The British Grand Prix, of course, is underway. We're going to be looking ahead to Andy Murray playing later at Wimbledon as well, and if the rain's going to affect whether they close the roof or not down there. Seems to be very showery, but possibly they'll want to try and keep it open. Coming up, we're going to do heroes and villains in this hour. We'll keep in touch with Graham Corley. Why are you shouting like that?
Well, because heroes and villains.
Full of the joys of spring.
Well,
and also we'll be doing listography as well, so if you've got any thoughts on what we should be doing on that, just send a tweet at the Two Mics and, of course, hashtag it listography. You're listening to the Two Mics with me, Mike Graham, and Mike Parry on TalkSport. This is TalkSport. There will, of course, be a podcast coming out a little bit later on. We did remind people we're going to be on Talk Radio this week from 10 till 1. There will also be podcasts of that going out because a lot of people are worried that they won't be able to hear them, and I think it's going to go out as well at 1 o'clock in the morning till 4. So, there's going to be no shortage of the Two Mics coming up.
That's right.
Right now, though, I hope you're ready. It's time for Heroes and Villains. Now, the score, if I'm not incorrect, is 3-2 to you.
Yes.
So you're currently in the lead.
Yes.
It's a very unusual position for you to be in any sort of competition that we
I'm
have.
used to that. Used to leading from the front.
I'm not surprised you're going to say that, but of course everybody knows that's not true. Now, I don't know whether you want to do heroes first, or you want to do heroes second, or should we do one of each? How do you want to do it?
Do one of each.
All right.
Okay.
Well, my first hero
Yes.
has to be Stilian Petrov, does it not? Because this is a man who has fought back against incredible adversity.
Okay.
Was diagnosed with leukemia,
Yes.
I believe, and is now not only recovered and in remission, we believe, but is actually now on the brink, apparently, of playing full-time first-team football for Aston Villa,
well, that's a
which is an
fantastic
extraordinary story, really. And so everybody, I think, in any walk of life would take their hat off to him. And I think genuinely he is a real hero and a great inspiration to everyone who's suffering from anything at all, really.
I would agree with that, definitely.
Yeah, that's my first one.
Okay, my first hero is Mark Clattenburg, who is going to be the referee for the Euro final tonight.
Well, he hasn't done anything yet.
Well, he has, because the reason he is the referee for the final tonight is that in succession he has refereed an FA Cup final, the Champions League final, and now the Euro 16 final. In the space of a few months, that's not bad, is it? And as he's British, I think that...
well, it's nice to have some kind of British representation,
Well, I was going to say, look, one of our British teams did great, Wales. The other one, England, didn't. But we've got a British referee being sort of saluted and recognised as the best in the world.
Yeah. Well, I think that's very good. Of course, what happens in this competition is that it's not voted for by the listeners because, unfortunately, we can't do that. And we haven't got time. But John, behind the glass there, is going to cast his vote.
Exactly.
I've always been slightly worried about him in the past, lost because he's tended to sort of favour you. For
No. He's a sensible, educated, and well-thinking boy.
Can't work the TV though, can he?
And you can't.
He can't work the television.
Well, you see,
he can't work out how to change the channels.
My God, you criticise the people you work with. That is the lowest of the low.
I'm just saying.
A bad workman blames his tools,
Yeah.
And you're a tool.
Thank you very much. I think you can say that during daytime. You'll have to practice what you can't say during daytime radio, right? You can't have any more of this kind of nasty talk. Now, my second hero is definitely a hero, but possibly a heroine as well, depending on whether you want to use a sexist term. And I'm going to say Serena Williams.
Serena
Williams,
right.
22 Grand Slams, 7th Wimbledon crown yesterday, drawing level with Steffi Graf. And it wasn't easy either. 7-5, 6-3. The first set was quite, touch and go.
Yes.
But what a remarkable woman she is.
Yes.
She's come from, what you might regard as a very non-traditional sort of place for tennis to grow up.
Yes.
South Central Los Angeles, and her dad has steered her and her sister Venus to incredible success. I just think she's a wonderful woman. I have great admiration for her. I think everything she does is terrific.
Okay, I would kind of endorse that, except for the fact that A, I think it's very obvious, and B, of course...
What do you mean obvious?
Well,
we're talking about heroes of the weekend.
Yes, okay,
Who
fine.
have you got that's more obvious than that?
The only thing I would say is that she did actually lash out at Wimbledon earlier this week.
What do you mean?
Excuse me, she threatened to sue them because she
because
slipped over when she said that they'd let the
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Well, I think there is something wrong with that because I think that was completely unnecessary.
Yeah, but she later said
it
was something that was said in the heat of the moment.
Well, okay.
And she actually made a good point as well because, when there is moisture on the ground, and as I've said many times, Wimbledon have not yet got their heads around the rain. They don't know what to do.
Well, the only thing is she realised later that it was out of place for what she said because she said, I will not be suing Wimbledon and I'm not going to refer to this again. She knew she'd made a mistake. But nevertheless, yes, she's won a lot of tournaments. My second winner, and you will love this as well, you really will, is Colin Montgomery.
It's not a winner, by the way, it's a hero.
A hero. My second hero is Colin Montgomery because after 5 years of competing only in the seniors and 5 years of just being in the media punditry business at the Open, which he played 21 consecutive times... He is back in the Open because it's Royal Troon.
Yeah, he had to qualify, didn't he?
He had to qualify, and he has qualified, and the reason
he didn't do that, days ago?
No, did this week, and he was only confirmed this week.
Well, no, he did it days ago.
No. But what I'm saying is, he did it because of his dad. His father was secretary at Royal Troon, where it's been played. It's his home course.
It is his home course.
And
he's got a house right on the course.
He's got a house right on the course, and he decided, I'm going to get into this competition, and he did. I rate that as really heroic behaviour.
I know a guy who's got a house on the course who used to rent it out every year for a vast amount of money.
A Troon?
Incredible, yeah.
I'm sure.
I think it's on the 17th hole or the 18th.
I'm sure, right.
Absolutely extraordinary.
Okay,
right, my first villain, you're not going to like this one. It's Everton Football Club.
Really?
Yeah.
How ridiculous
Do you know why?
is that?
Because they're having some improvements made to their football club's training ground, right?
Yes.
Which, of course, is Finch Farm, as you well know.
Yes.
It's rented to them by the council, right?
That's right.
And guess who's paying for these improvements?
Tell me.
The taxpayer.
Well,
you and I.
The taxpayer owns it. The ratepayers of Liverpool own it.
But hang on. I mean, it's all very well to say that it's owned by the council, which it is. Are you seriously telling me that Everton cannot come up with £4 million to give to the council as a gift to say, look, we know you guys own it, we'd like to make some improvements, but we'd be more than happy to pay for them because we got a billionaire owner. Well, how can they not pay for it?
Because I don't know the circumstances of this arrangement that you've talked about, and I certainly don't know the circumstances of the contract. I think it's unlikely that Everton would be allowed to contribute to the maintenance of council property.
That's not true. That's rubbish.
What will you have next? Will you have the council knocking on the door and saying, look, we want to build a new block of 120 social housing flats around here. Would you like to pay for them?
You're now diverting the subject. The subject is this is Everton's training ground, right? Everton should pay for it to be improved. They should not be taking taxpayers' money when they have a massive money-making operation, which for them £4 million means nothing. Let me tell you this: Liberal Democrat Richard Kemp says this further investment into Finch Farm is an investment shrouded in mystery. Why can't the terms and conditions be made public? Everton now have a backer and more money. Why can't they finance it themselves? Yeah. So that's what's being said.
I'm sorry, but as I don't know the intricate details of the arrangement, the contract, or the investment, I can't comment on that.
Really?
No.
Well, I wouldn't expect you to. Who's your first villain then?
Right, my first villain is Juan Mata, because I'm afraid he has proven to be unable to settle into a club. This guy has now become a journeyman, although a very expensive journeyman, booted around from Chelsea to Manchester United now to somebody else. We don't know who it's going to be. Could be Juventus or somebody like that, or it could be a part of the Pogba deal. Yeah. But I'm afraid that his credibility credibility now as a top-class footballer in this country is over.
It is very much under threat, isn't it? And, of course, he wasn't picked by the Spanish national side for the Euros either. So, I mean, that's quite a good one. Although I would say a bit harsh to call him a villain. Well, my second villain, I think you're going to not like this one either, because this is the woman that you have picked to be the next Prime Minister, Andrea Leadsom, a woman who has, ever since you've picked her and put money on her to win, has had nothing but trouble. Right, the day after you put the bet on, it was revealed that her CV has somehow lacked a few of the things that have been claimed that she did in her past.
Well, it's only a claim.
Well, no, that she has not done the things that her backers said that she has done.
That's what her opponents are saying.
No,
it's not clear.
No, it is very clear.
It's not clear.
She is. Well,
she's denied it. She's denied.
She has allowed people to believe that she ran massive, pension funds basically worth billions and billions of pounds. That she was in charge of thousands of people. All of that is not true. She's admitted that.
And she's denied she's misled anybody in any way.
Not true. Secondly, she's come out with this ludicrous thing which people have now said should make her think about possibly standing down as runing for the
nation.
Sorry,
you're still on the same woman?
I'm still on the same woman. This is why she's a villain, right? You may have seen this because she basically said that Theresa May doesn't know anything about running the country because she doesn't have any children.
No, she didn't say that.
Which is a ludicrous thing to say. She said basically that you know, without having a family, you cannot possibly know what it's like for ordinary people living in this country, right?
No, she didn't say that.
So she has totally dragged the leadership battle into a sort of personal slanging match, and I think she's a disgrace, and I think therefore she is my villain of the week.
She said, "I have children, so I think I have a better idea of how family life works."
So you're defending it? Are you?
I'm not defending it. I'm just trying to accurately repeat what she said.
Really?
Right. So she's your. Is that your first or your second villain? For so long.
That's my second villain. My first villain is Everton. Have you forgotten?
Okay, right.
Because they're making the taxpayer pay for the improvements to their training ground.
Now, my second villain...
I don't think you can beat either of those.
I think you can. My second villain is Adele, OK?
Adele is a villain?
Adele is a villain.
She's
staying at a hotel in the Cotswolds, OK? And it's Friday night, or it's late night anyway, and she wants a pizza. The problem is the pizza she likes is in Kensington.
OK.
She dispatches an aide 70 miles in each direction from the Cotswolds to Kensington to get the pizza for her. They bring the pizza back in a hot bag, you know, that you do with pizza.
In a hot bag?
In a hot bag.
I hope it was a box.
Well, whatever, you know. It's like an oven, you know. And when they get it back, unfortunately, she's gone to bed. And so when the maid went and cleared her suite the next morning, the pizza was still there, untouched in the box, according to reports that we've read this morning.
By the time it came, she probably wasn't hungry or something.
She wasn't hungry.
I mean, if you've got that kind of money, what's wrong with doing that?
Well, I'm sorry. What a complete waste of resources. Waste of petrol, waste of people's time.
Oh, what, so now you're conscious of the environment, are you?
Demeaning to the people who've been dispatched to go and get a pizza.
Rubbish.
And I have to say that that's a newspaper report and I find very disturbing. So they're my villains, and they're much, much simpler than yours. Joan Matter and Adele. I don't...
Joan Matter. When are you going to get his name right for a start?
I do not intrude into the world of politics. If I'd have intruded into the world of politics...
you bet on this woman to win. You bet on this woman to win.
I could have nominated Tony Blair as a villain, because, of course, he...
Well, you could have done, but you didn't, did you?
You know, he's been nominated as a villain. I don't want to intrude on the world of politics.
Why not?
You know, our millions of listeners...
about it.
Our millions of listeners don't want their life clouded by, you know, the vagaries of the political machinations and what goes on.
Really?
Yes.
OK. All right. Well, we will be judged not by the listeners, not by each other, but by Mr. Chambers back in the behind the glass there. You may get some help from the other people in there. I think I'm going to win this one.
Oh, no.
This is TalkSport.
I'm very confident.
The two mics. There will be a podcast coming out a little bit later on. We are on Talk Radio next week from 10 till 1. And, of course, we're at Rugby Theatre next Saturday night. We should just mention that.
Rugby?
There's a few tickets still available for that next Saturday night.
You keep
the
saying
live
that,
show.
but I prefer to describe it as it is. We're headlining the Rugby Cultural Festival.
No, we're not headlining it at all. Absolute rubbish.
We are. We're the top show in the top theatre.
We are certainly one of the top shows
in the prime slot, which is... What time do we go on stage? 7:30?
7:30, something like that.
8 o'clock.
As long as you get there on time, we'll be good.
Yeah.
And we'll be back here on Sunday, of course.
Indeed.
Now, let me read you a couple of tweets that I've got here. Heddy says this. What? Clattenburg, he calls him. He's been dreadful. He obviously knows someone at the FA. Every game he has reffed has had bad mistakes. and this is about
the world's
your
top ref
heroes
now.
and villains, right? Which John is going to judge for us very shortly.
Exactly.
Johnny says this: my hero was Porky's cleaner for having a week off.
Yes.
You can have that one for free.
Yeah.
Bob, on the other hand, says that actually the selection of Clattenburg by Mike Parry in Heroes is commendable.
Thank you.
Because Clattenburg wasn't going to be in Euro 2016.
That's right.
Originally. Now, do you want to have a quick pick of some listography? If
Yes,
I read
come
you
on.
out a few?
Yeah, come on.
How about this one from Adam? 3 people you grew up admiring. Can't count yourself, obviously. Still want to hear the 3 words that best sum up the other Mike.
Right.
This could be interesting. Arguments that did or almost did end in blows. Same from Martin. Who were your childhood heroes? 3 best ways you've sealed the horizontal refreshment deal. That's not for a family show.
No, it's not, no.
3 favourite national anthems other than your own.
Right.
This is
I
from
don't know
Justin,
any apart from my own,
who says
actually.
he's from South Africa but really like the Italian anthem.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know any other anthems.
Well, I know the Italian-German because of the Grand Prix. You know, the...
Well, what about the Euros? I mean, you've heard them all in the Euros.
No, but in the Grand Prix, Ferrari had a winning streak for 3 or 4 years, 5
Well,
years.
yeah, but what about Italia 90?
The German Michael Schumacher. No. Move on.
Okay.
Move on.
3 items you've bought that have ended up a complete and utter waste of money.
Yes.
That's not bad. 3 worst films you've seen.
Yes.
3 football goals you have madly celebrated.
Yes.
3 times you've cried. You can't do that one because you never cried.
No,
do you?
never cried, no.
3 best sporting finals.
Well, I'll tell you what, I quite like the money wasted or the 3 worst films. You take your pick from those 2.
3 worst films or money wasted? I don't know.
Money wasted.
Where should we do money wasted?
Money wasted, yeah.
Okay, we'll do money wasted.
We'll save the worst films for another day.
Yeah, okay. Sounds a good plan to me.
Yep.
Now, I've got something else to tell you, which I discovered over the course of the weekend, and it's to do with Serena Williams.
Is it?
Do you know that
I thought it was to do with a particular plant that appears in people's gardens.
No, well, you can tell me about that, actually. Yeah, that's the pampas grass plant.
The pampas
right?
grass, yeah.
Which somebody was kind enough to send us a picture of. We'll get to that in a second. But how about this, right? When she won yesterday, Serena Williams, she picks up what is basically $2.59 million.
That's right. £2 million.
$2.59 million, yeah. But because of Brexit and the fact that the money, the exchange rate has changed around against the dollar, she's actually lost 380 grand.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Do you know that?
Well, I mean...
380,000.
Well, that's for her financial advisors to sort out.
£1.88 million, right? Which was last year.
Yes.
So whatever it was this year, translated over, basically, it says on June 23rd, 4 days before the tournament began, the prize money, which was £2 million, was worth $2.97 million.
Yes.
But since the actual the vote, the pound has plummeted to its lowest level against the dollar for 30 years. So she's lost nearly 400,000 quid.
What she should do?
$400,000.
What she should do is go and see my bank manager at Coots. In the Strand, and ask if she
You don't
can
have a bank manager at Coots. You've never mentioned this.
Excuse me. And ask if she can deposit it there in the short term or even the long term until the exchange rate gets more favourable.
Yeah.
So she doesn't lose £380,000. Okay.
I see what you mean.
And anyway,
well, are you suggesting she may not need the money immediately?
Well, she definitely doesn't need the money immediately.
No.
And if I was her financial advisor, that's what I'd do. Stick it there. However, is it absolutely certain that she's paid a sterling cash cheque? I don't think it is these days. I think the international agreement is, and I'm almost certain this is right.
Yeah.
I think all prize money is paid in American dollars.
Well, it is. But my point is
that
she's paid less because of the exchange rate.
Yeah, but I don't think she is. I think.
Of course she is.
No, it's on the international tennis circuit. It's not just. It's not paid.
They don't lock in the exchange rate.
No, it's not.
The prize money's in pounds.
Yeah. When
it's paid in dollars, it is converted at the dollar rate of the day.
Well, if that's right, then she should leave it in Coots Bank. And if it's not right, she can take it as an international payment paid in American dollars. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I take your point that it's worth keeping in the bank.
Exactly.
And not taking out anywhere. But
exactly.
Now, I've just been told in my ear the decision made about heroes and villains, but I'm not accepting it.
Oh, so I've won.
Yeah, that's
Thank
what
you.
he says. That's what he says, but I'm not accepting because you obviously paid him off. You paid him off, haven't you?
I haven't paid him off.
You must have done.
I haven't paid him off.
That makes it 4-2 to you.
It makes it 4-2 to me. Yeah, John. Thank you for your common sense and your intelligence. I mean,
unbelievable. How can he not have Stilian Petrov as the guy that wins it? Absolutely shocking.
The only tweets.
He's a guy who's recovered from leukemia, a man who has been through hell and back, and he just doesn't think that's worth winning. Unbelievable.
The only tweets we've had have been supportive in my choices because my choices were better. It's as simple as that.
No, it hasn't.
Everybody loved the fact that I picked Clattenburg because he's
no, they
an English
didn't.
referee.
I just told you one guy said that he's made mistake after mistake.
Well, no, I don't think that's true. Everybody liked the fact that I picked Monty.
Read one of them out then.
Well,
read one of them out.
No, I left that to you. I'm not going back on that.
Because you can't find any.
Show's got to move on.
You can't find any. Here's a good one from White, who says this about who's in charge of the show. It's obvious that MG has been given the role of show anchor. Porky's role just rhymes with it.
That's not for a family show, and I'm not reacting to that. Listen, I'm going to tell you about Cristiano Ronaldo's face, OK?
Hey, look at Boris Becker, by the way. Check out that hair.
What about him?
Great. I just think he's great. I love Boris Becker.
I think... Do you know what? I put a bet on Becker to win his first Wimbledon when he was 17.
I don't care about that.
And do you know where I did it?
Why have you turned a conversation about one of the greatest tennis players of all time around to you?
Remember the City Golf Club down the alleyway in Fleet Street?
They used to have a place you could drive the ball into, like a screen.
Yes, that's right.
And it was like you were playing...
playing golf and all that kind of stuff.
No, not just playing golf, but playing one of the great courses.
Yeah, exactly, that's right, yeah.
Pebble Beach, I think.
Well, anyway, I got down there and talked to one of our sports reporters on the Express who'd been to Queen's. Queen's is the prelim tournament, isn't it?
Queen's tournament,
that's
not
right,
Queen's, New York.
He said this Boris Becker. Anyway, on the way back to the office, I went into a betting shop in Fleet Street.
And he won anything before that, then?
No, he won nothing. Nobody had ever heard of him.
Really?
But he won Queen's. He won Queen's. I said, what, 17-year-old kid? Yeah, he wasn't a flash in the pan. This guy's going to win Wimbledon. And I went in, I think I got 20-1 on him or something like that. And I think in those days, I probably put 20 quid on him or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was a fortune. Listen, Ronaldo's face, OK? Cristiano Ronaldo's face. Saw a picture of him when he first appeared on the scene as a gawky 16-year-old teenager. And what happens today? Do you know it can cost 10 grand to have his hair cut?
10,000?
Yeah.
I saw in the last game he had two kind of tram lines going down the right side of his head. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
No, you didn't.
I did.
No.
I did.
I can tell by the way you answered that you weren't paying attention.
I did. There was a white, furrow down both sides of his head, right?
No, not down both sides of his head. On the right-hand side,
of his head. That's right,
there was two lines very close together.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes he does that for charity because he does it to either draw attention to somebody who needs to raise some money for something, you know.
Okay. Well,
he's another guy I like.
Yeah, I do as well. Apparently he can pay up to 10 grand.
You don't like Ronaldo.
I do like Ronaldo.
Well, now you like Ronaldo.
I said that.
You've been telling me for weeks and years that you hate Ronaldo.
I've never said that. Honestly,
you
you put all these words in my mouth. I've said he's magnificent. Didn't I tell you last week he'd be the world high jump champion now if there'd been a bar around when he jumped up to score the goal against Wales?
You've described him as arrogant. You've described him as expecting
Gareth
Bale.
I like arrogance.
No, you don't like arrogance,
I do.
except if it's in your own.
Do you know how much he spends a month on keeping his eyebrows in shape? £600.
£600. What is that per eyebrow?
Don't know. To keep his eyebrows in shape.
Okay.
He had a correction to his nose, allegedly.
Oh, really?
Which cost £5 grand because his nose was too broad. How about that?
I've not ever seen a picture of him before and after, though.
Oh, the before one? Yes, I have, yeah. He's a gawky teenage kid, honestly.
Well, everybody's a gawky teenage kid.
Yeah. Well, his teeth didn't fit and all this kind of stuff.
His teeth didn't fit?
He spent 20 grand on his teeth.
How much are you going to spend on your teeth?
6 grand.
I thought it was 10.
Well, the first bit is 6 grand, and that's taking place on.
You're not going to end up looking like
Friday.
You're not going to end up looking like Ronaldo, though, are you?
Ronaldo, no, that's absolutely
I don't
true.
think there's enough money in the world that could make you look like Ronaldo.
Yeah, he spent 20 grand on his teeth, right? Because as a kid, when he arrived in Manchester, he had gaps, braces, and discoloured teeth.
Uh-huh.
He said, I was small, feeble, and had crooked teeth.
Yeah.
But after 2 years at United, he had a smile transformed by veneers that cost £800 a piece.
Right.
And he's had a lot more work since then. A dentist said his ultra-white teeth are now perfect and the veneers bring out his good looks.
But when he does that thing, and you're not in admiration of him, when he scores a goal and he goes over to the corner and he does that thing and he just sort of puts his arms down like some kind of superhero.
Yes, that's right.
And I mean, if he takes his shirt off, basically every woman in the stadium, and some of the men will be literally fainting.
Yes.
What's
that got to do with his teeth?
He's got nothing to do with his teeth.
Well, I was talking about his teeth.
Well, I don't care about his teeth.
Yeah, OK.
Or his nose.
I thought you were going to say then he took his false teeth out or something. But anyway...
That would be a trick.
Yeah, anyway, experts who've looked at his face think he has filler jabs.
What?
To plump up the skin and erase lines.
Like Botox, you mean?
Yeah, a little bit around his nose and mouth.
Do you think?
Fillers plump up an area where time has deepened the lines, such as smile lines around the mouth.
Yeah.
Ronaldo's face is smooth there now, which could be because of fillers, which are injected in fluid form into the skin.
I think his skin is just incredibly taut, isn't it? Do you not think? I mean, he probably puts all kinds of moisturiser on it and ensures that he doesn't get wrinkles. I mean, plus he's not that old. Why would you have wrinkles in your 30s?
I don't know. Perhaps you worry a lot. Now then, it says here he might spend up to £2 grand a month on his forehead. But you see, I don't like... Unless there's
his forehead.
Yeah, his forehead. Yeah,
Not his forehead.
His forehead. Unless somebody admits that they've had Botox jabs, I don't like to accuse them of having Botox jabs because it's said to be a bit sort of prissy, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Well, I think once you're somebody like Ronaldo, you pretty much don't care whether people think that you're sort of overdoing it a little bit.
They said that as a youngster he had a furrowed brow, yet now he looks smooth, and experts think he has Botox jabs.
So what, though?
Every 4
Does anybody
months.
care?
Well,
Does
I don't
anyone
know.
care? I mean, Ronaldo does what he wants.
Yeah.
He makes however many millions a year. What is it, 30 million, 40 million a year or something like that? He can do what he likes.
Yeah, probably about 30.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a Botox jab. I wouldn't let people stick needles in my forehead. Why would I want that for?
Well,
I don't need it.
It's a bit late for you.
It's not late for me at all.
Yeah,
It's people my age sometimes
By the way,
do.
did you know that people now, having seen the video that we did, which is on our Too Much TV...
Which one?
The one promoting our appearance on Talk Radio.
Yes.
Because you were no longer standing on a step, and you had to stand next to me.
Yes.
People have worked out that you're actually not the same height as me, nor are you, in fact, do you have any hair on the top of your head?
That was ridiculous.
That's
It's
what
the
they've all
light.
said.
It's the light.
The light.
The light. I admit my hair's gone silver, a very attractive silver colour.
No, it's gone. It's just gone.
And the
Doesn't
light,
matter what colour it's
the light
gone.
shines through it and reflects back off my
I see.
pate. It's as
Okay.
simple as that, mate.
Recognise that?
Yeah, it's Pink Floyd.
It is.
Yeah.
We were playing a bit of Pink Floyd last week, weren't
Yeah,
we?
we
When I
were,
was
yeah.
telling you that Wish You Were Here was my favourite Pink
Well,
Floyd album.
I'm going to definitely try and get those Pink Floyd
You should definitely
discs.
get yourself onto Spotify.
Yeah,
Just
maybe.
Get yourself onto Spotify.
Yeah.
Get
okay.
yourself a Bose dock.
A Bose dock. Yeah, okay, yeah. Good idea, yeah.
I'll sell you my old one once I've
Yeah.
got it fixed. Now,
Yeah.
we've
Bose
agreed to
dock.
do
I've got a
listography.
Bose dock.
We've agreed to do
Yeah.
this. Have you got any kind of dock? I mean, I know you said the joke about the Albert dock,
Yes.
but I mean, do you not
So-
have something you can put your phone in which charges it and also makes it play music?
No, I've got an iPod which my nephew bought me 4
Right.
years ago.
Well, that'll fit.
There's nothing on it.
Nothing on
No,
it.
I never.
Why didn't he put stuff on it for you?
Well, he did. He volunteered
What,
to
did
do
you
all that.
wipe it?
And I know I've never got round to giving him it back so he could load it up. You know what I mean?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
See,
anyway,
if I was
there
giving
we
you something like that, I would have loaded it up beforehand.
Yeah. Well, no, he didn't know
He's
what I
not
wanted
very-
on it.
He's
No.
not very thought. Well, of course he
No,
knows
no,
what you
no,
want
no,
on it. You
no,
want
no.
a bit of ABBA,
Yeah.
a bit of Queen,
No,
a bit
you
of
see-
bloody Michael Jackson,
You see,
a bit of Beach Boys.
Try and stereotype me like this.
Anyway, right, so
yeah,
we've
go
got
on.
these three things that are the
Yes.
biggest waste of money.
Okay.
You must have loads of these.
Oh, I have, I'm afraid.
You know.
Yeah. Go on, you go first.
Well, I'm going to go first, and I'm going to say a life insurance policy.
Yes.
Right. When I was living in New York, the idea was I was working for myself.
Yes.
So I had my own company and all of that.
Yeah.
And I thought, in
case you got mugged on the streets.
Well, I bought myself an apartment,
Yeah.
as you
Yeah,
well
that's
know,
right.
which I later had to let
Yeah,
go
exactly,
because
yeah.
of nefarious reasons, which
Yes,
we won't
that's
go
right.
into here.
No.
And I thought to myself, I should get myself a life insurance policy. So I got this life insurance policy. Quite frankly,
Yes.
was the worst idea I ever had because,
Right.
first of all, they had to give you an AIDS test, right, before you would be qualified for it.
Yes.
And they sent me this guy who was going to take a blood sample.
Right.
They said, don't worry about it. You don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
We'll bring somebody to you.
Yes.
And this guy turns up, and he couldn't find a vein in my arms. He was
Right.
poking about for about half an hour.
Yes.
And claimed it was because I was too fat. And I'm like, well, that's nice. I said, you come in here, I'm giving you a load of
Yeah.
money. He's like, the trouble is, there's too much fat on your arm. I can't find a vein,
Right.
Anyway, eventually found it. And for 2 weeks, I was waiting to find out whether they were going to give me this policy.
Yeah.
And whether or not I had AIDS, basically. And, I mean, all sorts of things start going through your mind.
Yeah,
And I
certainly
thought to
do.
myself,
Particularly if
why would
your
they,
lifestyle of an alley
no,
cat.
it's nothing to do with it. It was the 80s, right? So a lot of
Yes.
people were becoming very ill, and nobody knew why, and nobody knew what was going to happen. Anyway, finally, I rang them up. I said, look, I haven't heard from you guys. What's the story? Have I got AIDS? And they went, well, we can't tell you over the phone. And I'm like, pardon?
That's a bit worrying.
What?
Very
What do you
worrying.
mean?
Yeah.
And they said, well, we can't tell you over the phone. I said, well, can you tell me whether or not I'm getting the policy? And they said, well, you can't get the policy if you're infected with HIV, basically.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, so am I getting the policy or not? And they said, yeah, you are. And I said, so well, that means I haven't got HIV then? And they went, no, you haven't. But we can't tell you that over the phone.
No.
So that was fine. But then I put all this money into it.
Yes.
About $750 a month.
Right.
For about 4 years.
Yes.
And when I decided
What a
to...
waste.
What do you mean, what a waste?
Well, it sounds like a complete... Anyway, go on,
Well,
yeah.
life insurance is life insurance,
Yeah,
right?
sure,
So it's
yeah.
also a saving scheme, so
Okay.
that by the time you get to the end of it,
Yeah.
you can cash it in.
So
I
how
think-
much of the $32,000 did you get back?
None. Because, because when I moved back to England, I said, look, I can't afford to put $750 a month into it anymore because I'm not making as much money in England. What can I do? And they said, well, if you can't put that amount of money in, then the policy becomes void.
Right.
And I went, well,
I thought you said it was a savings scheme as well.
Yeah, it was.
But you had to save for the event of the policy.
But you had to be in it for at least 10 years before you could take any of it out.
See, that was a big mistake.
I lost all of it.
$32,000.
All of it.
That's 20 grand.
Every red cent.
My God, that's terrible.
So in addition to you turning me over for £1 million on the flat, I also lost another 32 grand.
Well, there you go.
Amazing.
You still had a lot of money in those days.
Yeah, I know. What's yours then?
Well, it's even more tragic. My venture into internet sports television.
Yeah, one of the great investments.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
How much did you put into that? You don't have to be specific.
Honestly,
shall we say more than what?
Well, I mean, it's embarrassing to have to say this because people will think, how could I do it?
Yeah.
But certainly a lot more than £250,000.
Really?
Unfortunately.
Blimey.
Yeah.
And it all just went down the Swanee?
Yes.
What,
Yes.
just buried it? I mean, what did they spend it on?
Eh? That's what happens to business ventures, which are very badly run. Unfortunately, I didn't know it was being as badly run as it was, because I was given all sorts of assurances, ring fenced. You know the word. Don't worry, it's ring fenced for 3 years. Can't lose and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Sadly, not.
It's a bit like but the trouble with those kinds of investments, particularly if you're involved in it yourself, you're kind of backing yourself as well.
Not only that, but you approach it with great enthusiasm. It's a brand new venture, brand new thing. It's going to succeed. It's going to make you millions. You know, you get greed and think I'm going to make a lot of money out of this. But it's not just that. I didn't need a lot of money, if you see what I mean. And I'm being boastful, but I mean, but it was the idea of starting something new and getting up and running and moving.
It's still going, by the way.
No, of course not. And it collapsed completely.
Well, the problem with it was nobody knew it was there, apart from anything else.
Well, it was so
Although
badly
people do occasionally
managed.
find sort of, you might want to round them up actually. Some old YouTube clips of you doing some very odd things.
But it was so badly managed, and it was never promoted properly. It was set up properly. There wasn't even a website to promote an internet,
an online business,
exactly,
which seems a bit odd.
But anyway,
to be honest,
I found that out far too late.
These are such good stories. I don't even think we need to do more than one.
Well,
I mean, I can't imagine you could have found a bigger loss than that.
No, definitely not.
I mean, I don't think I could have found. I mean, I probably could. I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say, the second house, the house that flooded, but actually I did all right out of that because I made 100 grand.
Well, funny enough, I lost out heavily in property in the early 90s because I was flogging property then, thinking it was going to go to nothing.
Yeah.
I flogged one house in about 92 or 93. Yeah. And I can't even believe I did this. It went for £85,000. Right. The house is worth $450,000 today. And it was what you used to call a townhouse.
Yes.
So it's basically a terraced house.
Somewhere in where?
In Surrey.
Okay.
And it was a kind of terraced house, the end of terrace house, and it was on 3 floors and all that. And I think I'd paid $132,000 for it, a few years earlier.
What, and you sold it for 80?
I sold it for 85.
Because you thought it was going to go there one worse.
I mean, the property market was honestly decelerating at such a rate. Yeah. And, you were told there was oversupply, it would be worth nothing, all that kind of stuff. I just offloaded. Yeah. And it wasn't just that one, I offloaded other stuff as well.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It was terrible.
But, I mean, I take the view that that's what happens in life. You go up, you go down.
On the other hand...
Although I will, of course, kill you at one point.
On the other hand, I have bought some property. I remember one for...
don't turn it into, Porky's Property Almanac.
No. But I mean, to balance it up. I'm not.
Well, you don't have to balance it up.
Not always that stupid. I bought one for 57, sold it for 225. Which is only a small flat. Yeah. These things happen.
Yeah, I know. Man of the people.
Yeah.
Means what? You sold it for what?
225.
So that's a profit of about 175,000.
Yeah.
What did you do with that?
Well, I bought another one. Yeah.
Right.
And that's what you do.
And you couldn't ring me with an 11-2 horse racing tip.
Well, I didn't think you'd want to get involved.
Unbelievable.
On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
The Two Mikes on Talk Sport.
So, Porky, that was the Two Mikes podcast. This week, of course. You can still get the podcast, but we're going to be on Talk Radio from 10 till 1 in the morning.
I can't wait. It's a brand new station and we're going to burst onto the scene.